The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Jets are the only team in football without a win, and people are comparing this Jets era to the Rich Kottie era. Holy hell.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but
the 2025 New York Jets season is officially here. Can Aaron Glenn lead the team back to the playoffs and finally deliver on the promise this roster has shown? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, here on a Monday. Shout out to Gator for that brand new intro. Joe Beningo normally joins us in this spot. Joe called me. He was in disarray. He was distraught. He will join us at 4:30 this afternoon instead. So if you're here for Beningo, check back on the channel this afternoon, and I promise you, Joe will be on with us in his weekly spot. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to the channel. I just want to thank the Jet fans out there, the Asmaniacs, who tuned into the postgame show yesterday. Despite how awful this franchise is, we do have the best fan base in all of sports, and I truly appreciate everyone who takes time to watch these shows, these videos. Anyone who supports the channel, it truly means a lot. It ain't easy being a content creator for a team that has not made the playoffs since 2010, a team that has not had a winning record since 2015, and really for the first time, I think, maybe ever doing this, I had no hope. There's nothing I could point to that tells me things are going to get better. So if you're still watching, thank you. We are all in this together. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is the co-founder of uSTADIUM, Frankie V. Mr. Tanky V, how we feeling, baby? Number one pick in the draft. Let's go. The tank is happening. Yeah.
Man, that's the best sound in the world, man. Is it not? That's a great sound. I mean, look at this. This is beautiful, man. Hope. There's hope right there. Look at that. Look, you're sitting there. You could Jake. You could draft whoever you want, any quarterback, anyone. You want to draft an offensive lineman. Not that we need one, but Jake, it's open season for us. Come on, this is what it means to be a Jet fan, right? I tried to reel everyone in. Tanky V's here. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I mean, yesterday just feels like a new low. And the fact that the Jets are now being compared to the Kottie Jets, do you realize like how bad that is? For those who don't know, who didn't live through it, and thankfully I did not, but you go back and you look at the record, you look at the point differential, you go back and look how the Jets played, you go back and you listen to interviews from people who played for Rich Kottie, right, which I have done, or I listened to my dad tell me about it, or whoever. 3-13 in year one, 1-15 in year two. Horrible. Like the worst era in Jets football. As bad as Adam Gase was, who started 1-7. Adam Gase won 7 games in his first year. And this tweet yesterday from Rich Cimini, I thought, kind of encapsulated just how bad it is right now. I've covered roughly 600 Jets games. This was one of the 10 worst performances. It was Kottiean. Aaron Glenn's team was ill-prepared and largely non-competitive. Outplayed and outcoached by a mediocre team that was missing 4/5 of its offensive line. No plan on offense other than hole between the tackles. Defense was pathetic. Poor tackling. No fire. Turned a former practice squad wide receiver into a star. Wilkes isn't doing the job. No one is. But thank God, Frankie, that Aaron Glenn made sure to let us all know this week that they had a good week of practice, because that is what we do. We're the New York Jets. We never win on Sundays, but we always win on Wednesdays through Fridays, baby. Hell yeah.
Jake, the most embarrassing part about yesterday, we can go position by position. We can talk about Steve Wilkes. We could even talk about Aaron Glenn. The thing that was the most alarming yesterday was it looked like the team gave up. a team that is trying to win their first football game for a new head coach, someone that came into this thing with all this energy and fire and wanted us all to believe that things are going to be different, that he's going to have guys running harder to the football. He's going to have guys trying their best to make plays. He's going to have guys putting maximum effort out there. We saw none of that yesterday. That stat that they missed 13 tackles in the first half is insane to think about. That's just insanity. 4 or 5 tackles missed is a lot. More than double that, that's a major problem. Aaron Glenn has got to go in there or look in the mirror or face the reality. I don't know what the right term is, but he's got to figure out why his players, for all intents and purposes, quit on him yesterday. They didn't want to play. Some guys were checking out. They weren't making tackles. They weren't pursuing the ball. I mean, like, they gave up. Now, granted, that happens, I guess, when you're 0-4, about to be 0-5. So it's not, I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world, but for a first-time head coach that all he preached was fight and energy, and we're not the same old Jets, and we're built for this. Built for what? I mean, it's bad. It's gotten worse week by week. I think we were at a high after week 1 with that moral victory, and look where we are right now. Again, yesterday, no sacks. I mean, they had 1 sack technically for -1 yards on that Dak slide. I don't consider that a sack. They have 4 backup offensive linemen. Where are these guys? No one got to the quarterback all game. Like
the Jets closed as a favorite, Frankie. The Jets closed as a favorite.
They did,
in
minus
yesterday.
1.5. Yeah. They did. Yeah, they closed as a favorite. That game, Jake, you said it. You brought it up originally, the quarter-by-quarter analysis. You said, we are losing every quarter of football. If you go through 20 quarters that we've played thus far this season, we've lost 17 or 18 of them. That's an issue. And for everyone that wants to bring up, and I understand it, the Xavier Gibson fumble, the Clemens penalty on Josh Allen, the Braylon Allen fumble, the Brees fumble yesterday, the kid Williams who fair caught and had his fumble. That's fine. I get that. But that's not bad luck when it happens every week. Bad luck is not something that happens all the time. There's a reason it's called luck. It's random. It's isolated. It doesn't happen often. When you're consistently having bad luck, no, it's not bad luck. You're just bad. That's the reality. The Jets are bad.
Horrible.
Yeah, and bad luck follows bad things, and so it's not bad luck anymore.
This team is horrible. They quit on their coach yesterday. That's what it looked like. When you allow 2 touchdowns in 2 minutes and 18 seconds right after that Brees Hall fumble, you quit. You missed 13 tackles. Guys look like they didn't want to be out there. I mean, this is as pathetic as anything we have seen. And let's stop with he's a first-time coach. What did you expect? He needs more time. Look around the league for a moment, people. Look around the league. Look what's happening. The Patriots, the Bears, the Jaguars, they all were worse than the Jets a year ago. Look what they're now doing with a first-year coach in their programs. And it's not even debatable how much better they are than the Jets. The Jets, we didn't have the highest of expectations. They shouldn't be the only team without a win in football right now. It is unacceptable, and it's gotten worse. And this stat, I couldn't believe it. I had to look it up to make sure it was true. Since week 1, right, the moral victory game, the Jets have not scored an offensive touchdown until they've fallen behind by 2 touchdowns. So Brian Gibberman, shout out to you. You're right. The stat padding that the Jets have done offensively is all it is. That's all they have done. They're not in these games. They are fundamentally undisciplined, unsound. They beat themselves. The defense can't stop anybody. And I couldn't believe this. They were losing 30-3 before they scored their first offensive touchdown against the Bills in the 4th quarter. I was down in Tampa. They were losing 23-6 before they scored their first offensive touchdown in that game in the 4th quarter. In Miami on last Monday, 3rd quarter, down 17-3 before they scored a touchdown. And in this game yesterday, they're losing 30-6 before they scored their first garbage time touchdown. So we are not just talking about a bad football team that, new staff, new regime, they need more time. What did you expect? Like, the Kottie comparisons are actually fair, and that is insane to fathom because this team has talent. They're not as bereft of talent as the Adam Gase team was in 2019 or Robert Saleh's first year in 2021. Like, it is unfathomable how bad this team is. It really is just like my head is spinning. It should not be this bad.
Yeah, man. And pointing, and looking at the defense, I mean, you would think Aaron Glenn being the DC of that Lions team, that was one of the best teams in football. And Steve Wilkes, he's been a DC basically his whole life, D-backs coach, took a defense to the Super Bowl, was a head coach. You're going to have those players out there playing that way. I mean, like, Sauce Gardner hasn't made an impact all year. Quinnen Williams had a game or two that he did make an impact, but a big impact I didn't see, especially yesterday. I thought Quinnen would come off the ball a few times and knock those offensive linemen in the backfield and get to Dak. I didn't see that. And that to me is more on effort than it is, because I know Quinnen can do that. I'm not calling him out specifically, but come on. Like, let's get that pea hot a little bit, as they say. But that defense is terrible. That when I was here in the offseason, Jake, didn't we discuss the Jets could be a top 10 defense? I was saying 6 or 7. They look like a bottom 5 defense. They look like the worst defense in the AFC. And Glenn can't allow that to happen. Wilkes can't allow that to happen. Where's the pride there? I mean, as a Jets fan, we've seen a lot of crap, let me tell you, but we haven't seen a defense this bad, I don't think. We've always had a pretty good defense for the most part. And if it wasn't real, it wasn't good, it wasn't this bad. The secondary is atrocious. Now, to look into what's going on, Jake, I think the offseason, not to get too much into it, but we did a bunch of moves to me that aren't really coming together. They don't really make sense. Like, Brandon Stevens is not a man-to-man corner. I don't think Sauce is a man-to-man corner either. So I would rather you play more zone. They're not playing a lot of zone. They think like these guys can cover across the field. Playing man, you got to really be hip to hip with those receivers. Those guys don't really play that way. So I don't like that. Justin Fields is not meant to run an offense like Tanner Engstrand wants to run. What I mean by that is Tanner wants to do 12 to 15 play scripts, methodical, hit players across the middle, get guys out in space, and methodically move the ball down the field like he did with Jared Goff, like he learned in Detroit with Ben Johnson. That's the mentality he's coming from. Justin Fields, you want that guy on the field less than more, right? Like, you want him to make big plays. Justin Fields, throw the ball down the field, use your legs. Things aren't meshing. It just doesn't make any sense what they're trying to do here. And you're seeing it. A bunch of things they did in the Cisco doesn't fit what we're trying to do here. He doesn't fit, I don't think, what anyone's trying to do anywhere. But this team is got talent, but the offseason to kind of fill in the holes were badly done. It was just not the right. They were not the right fixes. You're not filling the right holes. And when you thought you were filling the right holes with those players ended up being not the right fits here. And that's what we're seeing right now. Any hole they tried to fill in the offseason is just blowing up in their face for the most part.
It's astonishing how bad it is. First team to start 0-5 with 0 takeaways in NFL history. Yesterday, the Cowboys offensive line featured a 7th-round pick at left tackle, a 6th-round pick at left guard, a UDFA at center, a UDFA at right guard, a UDFA at right tackle. They quit on the defensive coordinator yesterday, which is a reflection of quitting on the head coach as well. And I know Glenn backed Wilkes yesterday. I don't know how you could continue to keep this guy around, man, if you're preaching accountability. They quit on him. I think it's obvious they have not bought in to the scheme. I do think there's some resentment from some of the players on this team from what happened last year with Saleh being fired and the defense being good and feeling like Saleh was made to be the scapegoat for all the problems. And everything since then has just been a nightmare. And I'm not even saying Saleh was a good head coach. I'm just saying Glenn is actually worse to this point, which is hard to believe because I really wanted to buy into this guy and everything he was preaching on being fundamentally sound and being a good tackling team and not beating themselves. And all they do is the total opposite of everything this guy has said. And the fact that we are here where we're discussing one and done, we're talking about Glenn being Kottie or Glenn being Gerard Mayo. It really is disgusting. There's a clip I want to play for you, Frankie. Mike Francesa nailed this on his podcast last night, talking about the Jets and Glenn. And this is a guy that obviously lived through the Kotite era. And the fact that we're here sickens me.
You can't throw a coach out in his first year. But you know what? The way things are going, Glenn's going to make it tempting. We're starting to reference Kotite. Do you realize, does Aaron Glenn realize what we are bumping into, what we are approaching when you start to bring up Kotite and the Kotite Jets? That's how bad this has become. They're actually not worth any more words. They just stink to high heavens.
Is there anything better than the Francesa Diet Coke swig after shitting on the Jets? Oh, God. King.
That was great.
He's right, though, man. Like, this is so
right,
pathetic.
unfortunately.
It's horrible. I hate that we're going through this, man. Like, it just, the Jets, they don't know a rock bottom. Like, we're at the Earth's core. We just keep digging and digging and digging. It doesn't stop. They're going to get destroyed by the Broncos in London now. Destroyed. They just beat the Eagles yesterday. Oh, this is just,
I'm curious what that spread's going to be, Jake. I'm really curious. Has it come out yet? I'm curious what Vegas is going to put that line at.
I will take a look as the Jets have opened up on FanDuel as a 7.5-point underdog in London. All odds courtesy of our presenting sponsor, FanDuel Sportsbook. Honestly, probably should be higher based on how the Jets have played this year. Let's be real.
Yeah. I was thinking somewhere between that and 9.5. I mean, it looks like, would anyone be surprised if Denver blows us out in London? No. I mean, wins by 10 plus. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd probably be surprised if that didn't happen at this point. But to what Mike was saying, this regime, this staff, this Glenn Muggi thing, they really need to prove to the fans and to the owner and to the media and to everybody that they're capable of running another offseason, potentially with a top 5 pick, and that you can have confidence that they're going to be able to get a few things right and build something that we're actually proud of, or build a team that can actually make the playoffs, which, newsflash, everyone, the playoffs are completely out. If anyone has any aspiration, I know that sounds crazy, but no 0-5 team has ever made the playoffs. So we're out of the playoff race basically already, which is insane to think about.
The race we're in right now is the race for the number one pick.
Yeah.
That's
it. Would you thought by October 6th or October 5th that we're basically almost, I don't want to say mathematically out, because you're not mathematically out because you can win every game, but no team has ever made the playoffs starting 0-5. Also, by the way, if the Jets don't get a turnover, Jake, next week, they join only one team in NFL history since the merger to not force a turnover in 6 consecutive games ever in NFL history. So they'll be in their own company there pretty soon. Yeah, Jake, this team, I'm not that surprised, but I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I can't believe that this defense is not able to take games over to a degree or take quarters over. Like, they have the talent to do it. And I don't know what they're doing. They're really quitting on Wilkes or quitting on Glenn.
The tackling effort on the drive right before the half told me they quit. That told me they quit. If you're a Glenn defender, they quit on him. That is a poor reflection of the coach. They're not playing for their coach. Like Glenn's doing the tough guy act. They've tuned him out already. And then he's trying to be softer with them. Like he's changed the messaging. He started off talking this big persona. We're it's coaching, man. We're going to change this. We're going to be a team that Jet fans are proud of. Quentin Williams said, another rebuild for me. And he said, nope, we're here now and going forward. Now yesterday, it's going to take some time, fellas. Well, I don't know, man. I'm looking around the league and I'm seeing a lot of guys who are in their first year with their new teams having success. Like, that is so damning for this team. It really is. Look at the Patriots last night, man. Almost like you need to hire an experienced coach. You know, look at what the Bears have been able to do this year. They're competent. Even the Browns, who aren't any good, at least Stefanski gives them a chance every week, despite not having a real quarterback. The guy's a 2-time coach of the year. Jacksonville, they're playing tonight. They're up to a 3-1 start.
Yeah.
First year coach. I mean, it's just, I am befuddled by how bad this is. I didn't think they'd be that good, but I didn't think it'd look like this. I didn't think they'd be 0-5 with the worst record in football. There's just no way anyone expected it to be this bad. No way.
And something about Glenn that is really surprising to me. I mean, he's kind of folding a little bit in these media pressers already because yesterday, what did he say? He brought up the Lions. He brought up Dan Campbell. He brought up Tony Dungy, who started 0-5 when he was with Tampa and starting out. He brought up Jimmy Johnson. I mean, he's gaslighting us. I said in our pod with Ryan yesterday, he's gaslighting us to say, this has happened before in NFL history.
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. So
don't let him move the goalpost. Don't let him move the goalpost. He is now trying to change the messaging. Yeah. Don't fall for it. He is in over his head. Do not fall for it.
Yeah. The solution to this for him, and I last night there came a point later on in the night, Jake. I was in my bed. I was on my phone doom scrolling, and I said, you know what? I kind of feel bad for this guy. I feel bad for this guy for one reason. He doesn't realize what he walked into. He doesn't realize he thinks because he played for the Jets and because he knows Bill Parcells and he knows people at One Jets Drive that he could have turned this around pretty fast. I don't think he realized all the crap that was really going on here and how difficult of a task this actually was. Remember, he came from a team in Detroit. They were rolling, man. And as a defensive coordinator, he didn't need to do much. That offense was putting up 35, 36 points a game. I mean, like, even if they gave up, 28 points, they were still winning those games. So I think he's been sideswiped a little bit at what's going on here. And now you see Rich Cimini, who Glenn was getting at all offseason, all, game, the first couple games, getting at him over and over again. Now Rich is coming back to bite him in the behind. So,
well, it's funny, as Rich said last night, that he's like, I wish I could tell you guys it's going to get better. I still believe Aaron Glenn could be a really good coach and turn this franchise around. But I got to admit, I don't know if that's based on anything. Like, there's nothing you could. That's honestly my biggest problem, right? There's nothing we could point to that tells us, hey, give it time, it will get better, right? Like, there's not, like, you can't use the excuse, oh, well, he needs more talent everywhere. Like, that's not what we were saying going into the year. You can't use the excuse, oh, well, he's a defensive guy and at least his defense is really good. Like, Salah had that going for him, even if he couldn't coach the rest of the team at a high level. Like, they're bad, man, and they're getting worse. That's the thing. Like, people got to understand, since week 1, which was their best performance of the year, they have not scored an offensive touchdown until they've fallen behind by 2 touchdowns. The Fields numbers, the stat padding, that's all it is. They're not ready. They're not ready to execute. They don't score that drive, a touchdown on that opening drive, and you just knew, oh, God, that's going to hurt them. Brees Hall fumble, immediately, defense folds like a cheap suit. Like, it's just, they're soft. That's a poor reflection of the coach, and now he's trying to change the narrative of big ships take a while to move. It's going to take some time, fellas. That's none of what you were saying all offseason and all summer. Let's not have revisionist history here.
Yeah, and Aaron Glenn's responsible for a lot of the offseason additions that this team put together, we have to remember, or the lack of not bringing in a wide receiver too. Does that not fall on Aaron Glenn? Who in their right mind would think that Justin Fields, who struggles to throw a spiral, I'm just going to say that again. Justin Fields struggles to throw a spiral. Who thought that not giving that guy or that offense a wide receiver 2 to take pressure off an elite wide receiver 1 in a lot of regards, or a very good, great wide receiver 1? Who thought that was a good idea? Who thought that? Is that a smart move, you think? Oh, we don't need a wide receiver 2. Pick up guys that are wide receiver 4 and 5 and just throw them in as your wide receiver 2. I'm sure that's going to work out great. It's idiotic. And when you do things that are moronic all off season and they don't make any sense, and you're drafting kids that can't even play really, and you're playing them a ton, like this Kiko kid and the end that are terrible. They should not be playing. You had players you could have picked up in free agency that were more suited to play on an NFL team than the Miami boys that were awful in Miami. Their defense was terrible. So what did you expect? That's what I'm saying when, like, I am surprised, Jake. I am surprised we're 0-5, but I'm not surprised this team is bad.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be this bad, Frankie.
No,
they don't have a win. They're the only team in the league without a win. They don't have a turnover. They have a defensive coach. That's
crazy. I would never have guessed that in a million years.
They have a defensive coach, and they have an experienced defensive coordinator. They don't have a turnover. They're the first team that's ever done that. Like they are, and like we're reaching the conversation of, do you Gerard Mayo Aaron Glenn? Like that's how bad this is. Like the idea that Glenn just needs to be here, like based on what have they done? What moves have they made that you could definitively point to that give you a lot of hope and inspire confidence? Like
there's not one element of football that we're doing at even an average level right now. Not one. Every level is bad. Every single one.
Look, I predicted 6 wins for this team. So I'm not surprised that they're a bad team. But let's go back to why I thought they were a 6-win team. I thought the offense was going to be a huge problem, and it'd be similar to what we saw in 22 or 23, where the defense would go out there and play well because there's talent on that side of the ball. There's experience on that coaching staff on that side of the ball. I think while Fields certainly is not the long-term answer, I think a good coach would have this team in his 4 starts 2-2. Like, I don't think he's been awful. He's had moments where he's played well. So like that's my frustration. It's like this team looks rudderless. They don't have any leadership. I think it starts with the head coach and the trickle-down effect. These guys just quit the second they face any adversity. And like, that's my thing. Like, I thought the defense would be able to keep them in some games, and, you know, the inability to score enough points would hurt them. They can't stop anyone, man. They can't, like that. That's been the biggest thing. They should not be this bad. That's the fear. We had low expectations. And even if you're someone who didn't think they were going to be that good, this is still alarming.
The epitome of what you're saying. And as a Jets fan, I have never seen a moment like this as a fan this low, was that Javonte Williams touchdown run. That 66-yard touchdown run, the second of which happened within 2 minutes and 18 seconds. They had scored a 91-yard drive in what, a minute and 20 seconds. We get the ball back, have a 3-and-out in 2 plays, 20 seconds. They get the ball back. First play, Jake. First play. They were calling timeouts because you could score with 30 seconds on this defense. Please, are you kidding me? They got the ball back, Jake. First carry, 66 yards. I mean, wasn't a touchdown. He got knocked out at the 2. Then they ended up scoring on the next play. Shocker. The easiest touchdown you'll ever see. They could have threw that ball to me. And that was when I was like, whoa, to me, it's rock bottom right now, if you want my opinion. Because I don't think if we get blown out next week, let's just say, I don't think we're going to be lower than we are right now. I don't think if we get blown out in 2 weeks, we'll be lower than we are. I think right now, and maybe I'm wrong because I said we were at rock bottom at points last year, but I think we're at rock bottom right now. I think this is a point where we could lose, Jake, another 4 games in a row. Are we going to be any different than we are right now? Now is kind of like the nail in the coffin, I'd say. We're not making the playoffs. No team's done it at 0-5. We know where this is kind of where it's looking like this is going potentially. No, is anything going to surprise us? So to that regard, at least it can really only go up at this point. If there's any optimism here, I really feel like they're as low as they're going to get at this point. If you want my opinion, I think they got to see what they have in Justin Fields. I obviously don't think he's the answer moving forward, but let him throw the ball downfield a little bit more. I think Tanner's hiding him a little bit, which every offensive coordinator that's ever had Justin Fields is doing.
Yeah, but you know what? To be fair, how about yesterday when they're moving the ball, the drive stalls, and I saw, I responded to Connor Hughes' tweet where he criticized Tanner Engstrom from getting away from the run, and I'm like, dude, he had Garrett Wilson open. You got to hit him. An NFL quarterback has to hit that throw. Like, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to make this all about like Fields is terrible. He's exactly what I thought he would be. Honestly. He's honestly been a little better because they've been able to, I think, to scheme a decent running game at times. I'm so down on the defense. I'm so down on the leaders, the supposed leaders of this team. The head coach, I mean, my God, this is as bad as it's been in a while. Let me say this quickly for those tuning in live. I'm trying here to keep the giveaways rolling, give people something to be excited about. We're going to give away a signed Joe Klecko football at the end of the show today. So if you get the membership, you're entered. Let me shout out everyone who qualified so far.
That's a great picture, Jacob Klecko. I like that. That's some
baby.
OG stuff. Hell yeah.
Old school. Black Gypsy's in for 1. M. King, good to hear from you, M. King. He is in for 5. The 2 $10 super chats from Gonzo and Mike, get them in. We'll get to those in a moment. And our guy Anthony Logerato also in for 5. Ladies and gentlemen, for everyone who just gifted a membership, this is for you. It's truly amazing. It
How long
really
you think
is.
you're gonna? How many weeks do you think you're gonna be able to play that for?
They're not winning this week. They might be Carolina. I'll be at that game. They might be able to win that game. Carolina, I don't think is any good. Like, here's the thing, though. You already know this is going to happen. All right, Mr. Tanky B. They are going to go out there and probably win 2 of their final 3 games. I'm telling you, I could 100% see that happening. Look at the schedule at the end of the year.
Amazing.
They're going to win week 18. The Bills will be playing for absolutely nothing in that spot. And like, I could so see the Jets at the end of the season here. They'll probably realistically win at the Saints. Maybe they win Jacksonville. Like, there's some games here. Atlanta's winnable. Like, they're not going to go winless. They'll probably end up with 3 wins, 3 or 4 wins. And probably 2 of them will come in the last 3 or 4 weeks of the year. 2 of the last 3, something like that.
Yeah. They're going to know a lot about themselves in that bye week because you're playing Carolina and going at Cincinnati. If you can't have some good performances against, those teams, you're really in some crap. So that bye week will be interesting for them. But Jake, on to just the coaching staff. There obviously need to be changes. And I'm not talking about just with the coordinators. I think the staff in general, the linebacking core has looked like crap. Our linebackers coach, Curry, right? You were a former player, Aaron Curry. What are you doing with those linebackers? Dre Bly, a former player. I'll be honest. I don't like when former players become coaches too soon. I don't think they're ready for it. That's just my opinion. We have a lot of former players coaching these guys back there, and where there's a coaching issue. They need to look at that coaching staff. For everyone out there, go to NewYorkJets.com and look up their coaching staff. You got to audit every single coach on there. Offensive line coaches, assistant coaches, assistant defensive line. We have an assistant defensive assistant. Like, we have a bunch of weird stuff, coaching positions out there. They obviously stink outside of the coordinators. So they got to audit that coaching staff, man. There's some issues because has anyone looked better this year? The only one might be what you just brought. Maybe Fields looks a little better. Maybe Garrett, even though Garrett's always looked good.
Right now, I will say this. I think there are 3 untouchables on this team. Garrett Wilson and the 2 tackles. Everyone else, if you told me they traded, I'm not going to sit here and pout. Like, I don't think I trade Quinnen either, but I'm at least listening. Like, it's that bad.
Yeah. The thing that was surprising yesterday was the offensive line. Now, I didn't look at the all-22 yet.
They had a bad game, though, but they've been better than what we have seen in the past.
Definitely. What I think's going on, though, and I'm speculating this, I said this with Ryan yesterday, I think Josh Myers at center is struggling a little bit to call out protections and slide certain protections, because if you look at what happened against Tampa, they're getting these delayed blitzes and they're getting home right away. Yesterday, they're bringing a lot of pressure up front, Dallas, knowing what they saw on tape with Tampa. Obviously, they're bringing a lot of pressure up front, doing a lot of stunts with those defensive linemen up front. I think Myers is struggling a little bit to call protections, and that was one of the reasons I think that Green Bay wasn't in love with him, and he's a liability in a lot of ways in pass pro. Not that he's been that bad this year, but I'm curious. I'm wondering if he's a little bit culpable for some of these, bad moments in games that this offensive line has had, because it doesn't seem like at the point of attack these guys are losing. It just seems like sometimes they're just out of position. Like they don't know who they're blocking. You saw that play yesterday when John Simpson's pulling to block an edge while there's a running back also there ready to block that same edge. 2 blocking 1, and neither blocked the edge because they didn't know who was going to pick them up. So I don't know. It's just something I was thinking of. And the quarterback is also a little bit responsible for what's going on up front with the protections. But yeah, it's just we're 0-5, and at this point, I don't know what to say anymore. And I'm not that invested right now, Jake. Like I'll analyze the team. I'll talk about the team. I'll think of new ways that I think that this team could get better, but I'm not gonna. Are you gonna be mad if they go 0-7? I mean, whatever. Like we're here. I was mad last week and yesterday. I couldn't believe how they came out yesterday. I really couldn't. I almost thought they were gonna win yesterday before the game. I'm saying I was
like closed as a betting favorite.
Yeah, I was like, this is a game the Jets would win. 4 backup offensive linemen, 3 of which are UDFAs, which is insane to think about. The other 2 are a 6th and 7th round pick. Not like you have a first or second rounder there. They came out flat. And I hate using the word quitting on the coach, but they all gave up yesterday. And you have a team there, and you have a core now, Jake, that we have to start looking at and asking ourselves, are these guys, I don't want to call them losers, but maybe they're so used to losing. That's kind of all they know. They don't have that vibe. Like I was telling Ryan, they remind me a little bit of the Mets, this core, the Lindor, Alonso, Nimmo Mets, like have all the tools. You look at them, they have all the tools. Sauce has all the tools. Quinnen, Brees, they have all the tools, but there's something missing. I don't know what it is. There's just something that when you look at these guys and you see them on the sideline or you see their post games, I'm like, I'm not buying it. Like I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the vibe that like we're gonna go out and win no matter what. And not many players are like that though. So it's not the norm to be like that. But I think the Jets need somebody like that. Not everyone's got to be like that. You need a leader in there. You need a Ray in there. You need somebody that's gonna get the troops riled up, get things moving. Everyone's just flat, kind of like a boring team. There's no character really. That's just my opinion though. To each their own, but I don't know. They're missing something. Do you get that?
I think the core of this team has just been through losing so much that
probably is it. Yeah.
The second they didn't see any success early, they start to fold again. That's why I think their best performance was week 1. It's like, here we go. Like, we believe we're doing well. We're in the game. And when they didn't win that game, and I said it at the time, like, be careful if you're celebrating a moral victory. It means nothing if you don't follow it up. Then they got their doors blown up by Buffalo. And I think it started to be that, shit, here we go again type of thing. Which sucks 2 games in to have that. But when that performance is that bad in week 2, then you follow that up with a demoralizing loss in week 3, and you're 0-3 again, and the odds of making the playoffs even at 0-3 are stark. I think it starts to snowball, and clearly the head coach is not equipped to get him out of it. That and, like, the strength of the team was supposed to be the defense, and they suck. How about this stat? On the pass defense, 64.8% of the opponent's passes have gone for a first down or a touchdown.
That's really bad.
They paid Sauce. They invested in Cisco. They invested $36 million. They're choosing in Stevens. Michael Carter got paid. He's back. Like, they kept Tony Adams for whatever reason. Malachi Moore, they draft. These are their players that all stink. And you see the stat at the bottom here. That would be the second worst mark in the season since 2020. The Jets' worst season since at least 2000, as far back as True Media goes on that stat. Zach Rosenblatt, of course, with the tweet. Let me ask you one question. Let me ask you a question. Do you see one defensive lineman yesterday beat the offensive lineman and get to the quarterback all game? Did you see anyone on the D-line get to the quarterback yesterday by beating the offensive lineman? Backup offensive lineman, UDFA offensive lineman. That was when I was telling myself throughout the game, Jake, I'm shocked that not one player on one snap Quinnen goes, I had enough. F this dude in front of me. I'm bulldozing right over this guy. I'm bull rushing him, getting right to Dak. No. Will McDonald, I had enough. I'm getting right home. No. Harrison Phillips, Michael Clemens, nobody, not one snap, not one. And you're not going against a great offensive line. Right.
And the same thing happened against Tampa. Now, of course, Dallas is going to do things with misdirection and play action, which they love to run, that are going to keep everyone on their toes, and you're sliding the offensive line. So it's not every play that you're going to get a one-on-one, but come on. I mean, against Tampa and Dallas, maybe 1 or 2 times I saw defensive linemen blow the play up in the backfield. Come on. Both offensive lines were patched together. I mean, what are we doing? And the defensive line is supposed to be a strength of this team in a lot of ways.
McDonald's been disappointing, man. I mean, Connor Hughes. And by the way, you're going to start seeing more and more of this from the media, right? Like, here, even the shade thrown in this tweet, you could see. And that Connor's not saying anything that's wrong, but like when Glenn acts like a prick to guys in the media and you start losing and can't back it up, Connor's going to take the little extra shot here in the tweet, right? Jets defensive end Will McDonald, whom Aaron Glenn said the team had unlocked because of the way they were coaching him. A little shot at Salah that Glenn took over the summer. We all loved it at the time. We all wanted to believe, wow, maybe this team was that poorly coached, and Glenn and the staff can get the most out of these guys, and that's how they're going to be better this year. That's why I'm so disappointed, because people now are trying to move the goalpost, being like, what did you expect? Be like, people, we've seen a lot of bad football. These games have been unwatchable for most of them. Like the pad statting that the Jets have done in these games. It's unreal. McDonald's got to be better. He made that all-world play against Tampa. He had a great week 1. He's done nothing since then. I mean, I keep coming back to the stat from Brian Gibberman. Shout out to you, Brian. Since week 1, the Jets have not scored an offensive touchdown until they're already down by 2 touchdowns. Like you're not in these games, man. Defense doesn't give you a chance. Offense can't pick you up because they're not built to play in shootouts. You don't have a chance.
Yeah, Justin Fields, traditionally, he's, 0-26 when a team scores 21 or more points against him. He's never won a game when a team has scored 21 or more against Justin Fields in his career. He's 0-26. I'm not trying to rip Justin Fields for that stat. I'm just saying. So if your quarterback's like that, he was 0-24, I think, when we got him, or 0-25. You need to get going fast. You need to score fast. You can't settle for field goals in the first half. You got to score a touchdown or two. We've fumbled away a few of those throughout the course of the season, so I get that. But it's I'm sick of fans though, and I'm sick of content people. Not you, Jake. I love you, Jake. Sick of content people that make excuses like, oh, it was 10-3. We were going into score and Brees fumbled. Oh, it was 10-3 again. Braylon Allen fumbled. Oh, Xavier Gibson. How many situations are you going to bring up? The list there's like 10 things on that list. It's not bad luck.
You gotta overcome it too, right? New England last night. Ramondre Stevenson. Look at his fumble last night. Did that cost them the game?
So
no, you overcome it. If you're a good team or you're well coached, like obviously New England is with Mike Vrabel. Shocking. An experienced coach goes there. All of a sudden, they're better than the Jets because the Jets keep hiring guys that are first-timers in a position that is not for first-timers. It's a different beast, man.
Such a good point. Such a great point.
New England overcame it literally last night against the Bills on the road. They overcame the same thing that the Jets have done now back-to-back weeks that have gone out there and has killed them. Any sign of adversity, this team can't overcome it. That's a sign of a poorly coached team, is it not? Like, am I wrong?
No, you're 100% right. And listen, you were one of the only people that was really gun-ho on saying that we need an experienced head coach here. We should not be doing a first-time head coach operation. Now,
and people think I was like anti-Glenn. I love Aaron Glenn. I want him to be the man. Like I tried to buy in over the summer to everything we're saying. Like I want to give him a chance. Like we made the shirts, with his quote that people loved. Like I'm a Jet fan. It's just like it wasn't him. It was just it. Once again, it's a first-time coach from a defensive background. He might be able to turn it around. I hope he does. It's not looking good right now. But like,
what are you supposed to do? You have your opinion. Your opinion looks like it was right to a degree, and you're going to support whatever the team was going to do anyway. And,
I get ripped on Twitter every day because now I'm critical of Aaron Glenn with my tweets. It's like, yeah, man, they're 0-5. They're historically bad so far. The stat says it all. He's a defensive coach. What am I supposed to say? They're good. Like it's all going to be okay. We have no evidence to support that. That's my whole thing. It's like people, why are people mad at me for being honest about the ineptitude of this franchise? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either, man. I got the same thing, man. I mean, I get similar things, specifically with my best friend over there, number one. But listen, man, at the end of the day.
And by the way, to be fair to you, Frankie, the way Sauce has played, he hasn't justified the contract. He did week 1, and since then, what plays has he made, right? And the one thing that Sauce does that really annoys me, I'm getting sick of it. Yesterday, he gives up the touchdown to Pickens, and he's basically trying to imply that, it was a coverage breakdown.
So much, man. And even if it was, listen, I want to know. This is where the media loses me too sometimes, right? Like, why didn't anyone ask him? This should have been a follow-up. Now, the media usually doesn't follow up like this, but I wish they did a little bit more. They should have asked him, what coverage were you playing? Were you playing a cover 2? Were you playing a cover 3? Were you playing a cover 4? What were you playing? And look at you were playing man. Now, if you're playing man with safety help, all right, that's not a busted coverage. Yes, the safety didn't help, but you're in man. Like, it's not the busted coverage is a bailout term to use. And it didn't look like that was busted coverage, but who knows? But yeah, Jake, listen, I'll say this about the Sauce deal. I didn't want to sign him. I didn't. I wanted to sign Garrett only. You know that I said that a million times. We got into an argument, you and I, and how many callers. Regardless, you know what? It's a good deal. It's favorable. If you look at the cap hit and when they could get out of the deal, it's not crazy. I think in year 3 of balloons, and then you could get out of it year 4. It's fine. I'm not going crazy about Sauce playing badly and that I was right, everyone. Like, I don't do that. I don't take victory laps. The problem is what Muji and Glenn want to do with that defense and what their mindset was when they gave Sauce that money and they didn't bring anybody else really in. Like, that secondary's terrible. and you're running man with Sauce Gardner. Put the guy in a zone. Tell him to stop. He's going to get called for flags left and right anyway. Let him play zone. Let him be a Josh Norman, Richard Sherman hybrid corner. Let him make some plays. Enough of this man with Sauce. Put him in a zone. Brandon Stevens, put him in a zone. The guy can't play man. I think I could get open on Brandon Stevens. Seriously. I mean, like, what are we doing here? Wilkes wants to keep – he has these guys trying to go hip to hip with these guys, Jake, across the field. They're doing crossing routes. We're not getting pressure on the quarterback. So the quarterback has all day. These receivers are running sideline to sideline, basically. Of course these guys are going to be open. You saw with Malachi Moore yesterday. Got a rookie safety out there running across the field in a man. What do you think's going to happen? That's a tough play. That's a tough play for anyone. That's a tough play for Darrelle Revis.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, what are we doing here, bro?
That's fair. Great point. I got some news for you, Frankie. We have our
What's
next
up?
guest. He wants to talk with you, wants to talk with the community here. Ladies and gentlemen, he normally joins us Monday afternoons, but because Joe Beningo is so disgusted with the Jets, we pushed Joe to 4:30 today. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Parkinson from Badlands and the Turn on the Jets pod joins us now. Will Pa, how we doing?
How we doing, fellas?
Hey, what's up, Will? How you doing?
How are you?
Well, at least you had some good weather yesterday. That's about all I got for you.
Yeah. Dude, I've said it maybe to 800 people, but like, I can't remember a 3-game stretch we got weather like that at MetLife. And like 85 and sunny every time. It's like, and just awful. Game's over by halftime. It's brutal.
You got the nice tan, though, there, Will.
Yeah, you know, that's it. It's the ring light, dude. We're in little bronzer, ring light, some pavement on the grill, but no, yesterday was dude, they can't handle adversity, man. It's the second one bad thing happens, it spirals. It happened last year too. It's like this team, it's like the core in their DNA. Like last year, remember like Seahawks game, Colts, every game was the same. The Rams game, every game's the same. Everyone. Get off to a nice start. It's going to be different. Defense usually gets 1 or 2 stops early-ish on. Offense looks pretty good. A fumble, a penalty, a drop, whatever it is. And it's like, oh, they're down by 30. How did that happen? And it's in like 3 minutes of game time. Yesterday was literally 3.5 minutes. It was over. Like 10, about to be 10-10. Glenn punting, which was so weird. I actually feel like he's been pretty good about going for it generally. Actually, I mean, the analytics back it up. Like the Jets, I think, literally were number 1 in the league, and like when they should or where they shouldn't go for it. That's when you decide to punt against an elite offense when you have a bad defense. I don't know. There was just a lot of decisions yesterday that felt like it's not even just Glenn, it's everybody, but I don't know. There's just a lot of stench in that building that I don't know if it's going to be cleaned out in enough time to salvage any type of even a fun season at this point.
Well, I guess my question to you would be, how much of that is on the head coach versus the players, right? Because it looked like yesterday, 2 minutes, 18 seconds to go after the Breece Hall fumble in the first half. To allow 2 touchdowns that quickly, it looked like they quit. It literally looked like they quit on Wilkes, which to me is a reflection of quitting on the head coach.
That Tyler Barron and Isaiah Oliver attempted tackles were something out of a textbook on how not to tackle. That was – dude, it's like the slow-mo that, you know, I think Joe might have tweeted out. There was like the side by, you know, the clips of like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, like half a second. It was like Tyler Barron just wrapped up on him like a bear, and all of a sudden Javonte was like 40 yards downfield. And you're like, what just happened? I don't absolve Glenn because he's the head coach, right? And like you can't sit there and absolve somebody just because the past was bad. Like if you were cheating on your ex-girlfriend and you start cheating on your current girlfriend, that doesn't make your ex-girlfriend the only problem. You're probably part of the problem as well. I will say, I think I saw someone tweet like, I miss Ulbrich and Saleh. I would argue a lot of this stems back from the culture that was built over the last couple of years, where these guys just kind of like, ever since 7-4, what have they won? 13 games, 10, 12 games over the course of 24 months, right? Or even longer, I guess longer than that now, fellas. And like, it just feels like you guys all like growing up, we watch all these teams, you play sports. When you're around a winning culture, it's easy to kind of like, this has happened with the Yankees, dude. And I don't mean like they have like this little bit of quit in them still. And it's like, they didn't used to have that. And we can talk about the 90s Yankees for hours. It doesn't matter. But like that team was around a culture that no matter what happened, you felt like you were in a game. It made you not want, like you couldn't turn that switch off. And it feels like a reflection of the solid Ulbrich era is like, these guys see adversity and they kind of just like, we're probably going to lose anyways. It almost feels like they've bought in, and not everybody. I don't want to like cast everybody in this bucket because I think that's wrong of any of us to do. Like, not all the players are like this. Like, a lot of these guys do play hard and fight every week, but there is a collection of guys that, like, I don't know, man. They kind of buy in the same old Jets, it feels like, right? Like, I feel like they've kind of bought into that mentality of like, well, we don't get any calls and this is going to go wrong for us and we get bad luck. And like, you can't have that. Like, that cannot happen as a player. I truly think like there's a way this gets turned around, of course, right? Like, we've seen this happen, but it's going to take a pretty big overhaul of this roster. And I think Frankie and Jake, I don't know about you guys. And, obviously like, I almost just wonder, and I think this is my biggest gripe with this whole regime thus far, not taking the full Rodgers and Mosley cap hits this year because you wanted to be in this competitive rebuild, which I think all of us were on board with. We're like, hey man, like, let's try to win as many games and establish a culture. But if Glenn came in and was like, we suck, we're tearing it down to we're getting rid of any guy over the age of, they kind of did half of this, like no one over the age of 27. We're not going to give out big contracts in free agency, all that stuff. I think both of you guys, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but in what I've seen, like, I think you guys were on board with that too. It was like, hey man, we need a reset here. But then it's like, you spread the cap hits out, which is a little confusing.
He didn't say that. He said they're trying to win. Yeah. And
also,
I did,
you know what I mean, Jake? Like, obviously, publicly, you're not going to be like, yo, we're going to be ass. Like,
yeah, but his messaging has been terrible, Will. He's hyping up this team being well coached. Like, Connor Hughes had a great tweet. I don't know if you were watching. I put it on the show before. Like, Will McDonald, he's going out of his way to highlight, Will McDonald's doing this because of coaching, man. It's all coaching, and we're not going to be the most penalized team in the league, and we're not the same old Jets after you just blew a game to the Bucs and you fell to 0-3, and then you followed that one up. We're not the same old Jets with these performances. He's all talk to this point, and I think players are starting to tune him out, and I think there's a major problem with this defensive coordinator, and if he's going to allow Steve Wilkes to continue to coordinate the defense, this is only going to get worse.
I just think No, and one quick thing. No, Will, I get what you're saying, and I sort of agree with you there. I think that he was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. 1 foot into a rebuild, 1 foot into a retool. And like what you're saying, I agree with. You should have gone one direction or the other, right? And like,
we're gonna suck this year.
Yes, we're gonna and he's gonna say that, Jake, that they're trying to win, but the moves just did it. Like, Brandon Stevens did not make any sense to me.
But they split the cap hits, to Will's point. And then we're like, we're trying to win. They make the move for Harrison Phillips. They make the move for Jawan Briggs. So, like, they just completely misevaluated the roster. They thought they can coach up Michael Clemens. They thought they didn't need a wide receiver too. Like, that's why I don't trust them now to potentially take a quarterback in the top 3 of this draft. You should have no faith in them doing anything right. Like, they're Muji's first offseason with Glenn, who's essentially overseeing any move they make. Woody Johnson referred to Muji as Glenn's sidekick at the introductory press conference. That's all I needed to hear to know, like, who's running the show. Like, their messaging has been terrible. They've been half pregnant. They have not committed to what they wanted to do, and they over-evaluated their ability to coach up these guys on the team. And I think that's a major indictment of this head coach.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like there is positives, right? And I think there's always going to be positives. I saw a lot of comments like, would this happen with Vrabel? Dude, the Patriots overturned like almost 60% of their roster, and it hasn't looked like yesterday. Sorry, apologies. Like, it was the first time I was like, oh, that looked like a Vrabel coach team. Like, they also looked like dog ass for the first 4 weeks. So I don't want to get into like would they do this or would they do that?
They have a ton of money.
Also, they were never getting Vrabel.
A ton of money in that offseason.
Yeah, they were never getting Vrabel. They're trying to win right now. They have a quarterback on a rookie contract. I'm not saying that people are wrong. They're like, ooh, would this happen with Vrabel? He was a veteran head coach that has been there, done that, was allowed to spend a ton of money. They had a ton of just a little bit of a different situation. So I don't want to.
Should it be this bad though, Will? Like, okay, they couldn't get Vrabel, but like, should they be Kottie?
I wanted Mike McCarthy, man. So like,
me too. I wanted someone with experience.
Everyone gave Mike McCarthy a hard time. That dude, Dak Prescott, gets hurt last year. They're still a competitive team, almost in the playoffs. Like, Micah Parsons is one of the hardest players in the league to deal with. Like, guess what, man? Like, Mike was fine under. I don't know. Dude, Shoddy looks like a good head coach. Like, let's be honest here. Like, he went right offensive game plan wise. Like, Cowboys are dropping 35-40 a game, and they're missing one of the best 3 receivers in the league right now. And they played against Green Bay's defense, right? Like, they're not playing the Giants' defense. Supposed to be very good. They have 40 on both of them. So Shoddy might be a laughing stock to people that hear because like of how it ended. Dude, I don't know, man. Like, he's done a pretty good job, and he's done a really good job calling offense. I'd rather Glenn call the defense at this point, because at least you can be like, have a clear, it's all on me. And like, if it gets done, it gets done. It feels like with Wilkes, rightfully so, it's an easy scapegoat. But like, it just feels like they're very predictable. I don't know if you guys feel like that. It's like first and second down, every drive, you're like, okay.
Super predictable, man.
And third down, it's like they're going to blitz an extra guy and they're going to play press man, and you're going to run some type of a crosser or screen. Jamie and Sherwood's going to be late. Someone's going to slip in the secondary. And
Will, it's one of the most vanilla defenses you could possibly
first and second
imagine.
down are so like effective.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, just fix one goddamn down.
I'll say this. I don't think, guys, and you guys could disagree with me
Yeah.
here, I don't think Glenn is going to take over play calling at any point
I
this
don't
year
either.
for one reason. He came in and said, I am not a defensive coach.
Yeah,
Remember,
you can't.
I'm here to be the CEO to coach the offense and the defense. He's not going to be like
He's got to find his Flores, don't you feel like, or his Ben Johnson of like, I'm going to find a guy who like his Jim Schwartz, his Fangio, whatever it is in the offseason of like, hey, we're going to revamp the personnel, obviously, and we're going to make this way, but we need that, like, this guy's, like, Wilkes was supposed to be that, obviously. They made the wrong
Wilkes was
decision.
supposed to be that.
You know,
yeah.
and I won't fault them. I said this on the pod. I don't fault their process, though. I feel like everyone was really clamoring for, like, veteran guy, called plays, has been a head coach, respected football guy. I just think, unfortunately, with Wilkes, like, the game might have – it just might be – 2015 was a long time ago from when he was an elite DC, like – and that Carolina, year with Baker and Sam. And then, it was like he won a lot of respect for that. I think more so because of how bad it went in Arizona. I don't know. I wonder if, like, I don't know who that guy is, right? I mean, maybe you guys have names in your head, but like,
does Glenn survive this though, Will, if it still looks like this at the end of the year?
I don't think Woody's been very patient. I know he was not patient at the end of the year and beginning of the year last year, but like, dude, 3 years of patience there. Like, he gave Gase 2 years.
He was in London for that.
I have a hard time thinking he's going to eat like $40 million.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you both a question. What do you need to see from Aaron Glenn that you'll have confidence in him next year? Like
Good
what?
question.
And if the Jets do, let's say, go on the other side, let's say the Jets do go 2-15.
Yeah.
I agree with Will here, Jake. I think he's going to be back. Maybe unfortunately for some people, I just think there's too much money tied up. We were talking about this though. You did say Woody, if he wants to eat that contract, that is peanuts. Yeah.
It's
a lot of money
for,
though, so. But if
if Harbaugh's available, I don't care. Like,
I'm with you there.
I agree. I agree. It's just, I don't know. I go back and forth with this. I think what I need to see from a Glenn coach team. I'd like to see some adjustments to things that I feel like are very solvable problems, right? Like, let's just go through it. Like, I'm just going to say this. I think Justin Fields is a great dude. I think that he shows flashes of being an NFL quarterback. He's much more in the Tyrod track of like the guy that like is a good high quality backup that could come in for 4 games and maybe you split him. He's 0-26 when the defense gives up 20 points. We're not talking 30 points. Like, he's a great kid who like doesn't win football games. Like, let's be honest here. And it's not beating up on Justin Fields. It's just, I've seen a lot of cherry picking of like, well, look at his stats yesterday. I'm like, dude, it was 30-3. Like,
when he wins games though, Will, when he has real coaching like Mike Tomlin, he can go.
4-2. But even then, dude, like it worries.
I don't think he's been their biggest problem. Is my point.
Did we as a fan base, including myself, I'm 100% victim of this too. Did we in hindsight look at first month of the season's always a little weird in the NFL, and like Russ stinks, and like they just wouldn't go back to Fields, and I wonder like, I don't know. My point being was like, outside of quarterback, right? Playing Tyrod does you no good at this point. Just play Fields. It's better for the running game. It means Garrett's going to be more involved. At receiver, like, I was happy yesterday. Arian Smith might suck. He might be good. I have no idea. I'd like to find out. I'd like to find out if some of those young guys they had during the summer are better. Like, enough of the Lazard reps. Reynolds is fine because he's whatever. Tight end, like, yesterday again was great. Mason Taylor, 11 targets. Keep them coming, man. I want to make sure. I want to know if this kid, which I think we're all pretty high on Mason Taylor. Dude, Mason Taylor finishes this year at 65 catches for 700 yards. Aren't we all feeling pretty good of like, hey, young quarterbacks walking in an elite wide receiver 1 and a 21-year-old tight end who's pretty good. I want the offensive line, like, move away from the offense because honestly, like, I don't think they've been a problem necessarily. Angstrad's shown some flashes. I'd like to see him adjust a little bit better. But the opening scripts they've scored pretty much every drive except Buffalo, right? I think they've scored every opening drive. Well, Brad fumbled, I guess. So no, it's only 3. But yeah, but whatever. That's not it's not an extra. And it was a hell of a 90s whatever yards. Defensively, like something has to change at edge, and just Jermaine coming back isn't going to do it. But I want to see what Jermaine is, because that extension talk for Will McDonald and Jermaine's going to come up very quickly here, and it's going to probably mean you're paying one, not the other. D tackle, whatever. I mean, I guess you want to see Leonard Taylor, but like honestly, they obviously don't value him, and like it's probably a lost cause at this point. I'd like to see Cam Jones at linebacker more than like I'd like to see Jamien Sherwood play, I don't know, 50% value of what his contract is. Like, I'd argue, guys, and this is maybe a hot take, but I thought about this a lot yesterday. He's been the most disappointing Jet for me, and I'm think he might be. He's played the first 5 weeks at arguably worse than anybody else of those starters. Like that, what you expect, right? Obviously, Tony Adams stinks. That's not. We're not talking about a $750,000 player.
They chose to bring him back.
They did, and I can tell you for a fact, I know 2 other teams who the Jets play this year were willing to pay him more money. And one of them,
I think Sherwood's taken a little bit of a hit without CJ around. I was speaking.
Yeah, well, I fully agree. The
CJ goes, CJ was telling me, you know what he said? He goes, "Kid's good, but he's going to learn from experience. You guys are going to hate him until you love him." He goes, "It's going to take time." He goes, but the PFF grades came out. I know people are asking, so I don't know if anyone wants to know the highest graded Jet on offense was Mason Taylor. Shout outs.
Oh yeah,
nice. Justin Fields was second. Ruckert third, Garrett Wilson fourth, and then Isaiah Davis fifth.
Again, Ruckert and Isaiah Davis. Like, I'm glad I want those guys to play, because you guys know this. Like, those guys honestly matter so much in a rebuild, because Isaiah Davis, if he can establish like, hey, I'm a running back 2 in this league, not just a running back 3. Hey, you have a $750,000 controllable asset, a running back 2. You don't have to spend any money there, right? Because who knows what Braylon's going to look like post knee. Or, dude, Mason Taylor and Ruckert, if they can be a solid tight end room, you're paying $2 million for your tight end room, which means you can go spend more money at edge or spend more money at safety. Like, these things need to. Can Josh Myers still be like, hey, I'm a legit top. I'm the 23rd best center in the league, but on a good offensive line, I'm fine, and I'm going to cost you $1 million. Like, dude, the good organization, San Fran, Green Bay, whatever, they find those guys and like they plug and play them, right? Baltimore's been doing until this year. It's worked for Baltimore for years of like, 33-year-old Kevin Zeitler leaves, and it's like plug and play Josh Myers, and they're able to go spend money somewhere else. So defensively, though, it's the secondary that's pissing me off the most, because I feel like Stevens was better yesterday, full stop. Like, I think all of us would agree, like the first 3 weeks were an abomination. Last 2 weeks has been better.
Second highest graded player, Will.
Yeah, he does tackle
on PFF. Briggs was first, actually, like yesterday.
Yeah, so. Briggs
isn't playing good.
Best deal.
Yeah, seriously. I know.
Like,
Jawan Briggs.
Can you play?
Jake, I'm getting you a Jawan Briggs jersey. You ready?
Yeah, no, we gotta get it.
You want it, Jake? Briggs 91.
Jerseys
Jersey. Briggs.
It's unreal. It's unreal.
Why don't you play Stevens and Michael Carter at safety, who have both played it there? And Carter's a smart player. Stevens tackles well, and then play Azaria Thomas and Brownlee and Sauce at corner. And now I'm like, you have your 5 best guys out there. You have 5 guys who you theoretically could have, if you want past this year, you could have that group if you wanted. And it actually probably puts everyone in their best spot right now. Like, Carter struggled somewhat with the injuries. Stevens cannot cover in man. It makes him though he's facing the quarterback, he doesn't have to worry about turning his back and defending that many goal balls. Maybe you could play Stevens in the box some, and he could tackle well. Malachi Moore can kind of be that fringe player where he kind of subs in here, in and out, and maybe he's kind of your dime package player. Tony Adams and Sisco aren't good, man, and neither of them will be here next year. And I don't feel like they give a ton of effort. Not that they're not giving effort, but I don't feel like they're playing like this intense level that you need to keep them out there. I don't know, and I just that's what bothers me. It's like that doesn't really feel like that, guys. Like, this is not a hard fix. You're still playing your most expensive players. It's not like you're not. But A.Z. Thomas is a guy you brought in. Stevens is the guy you brought in. Moore is the guy you brought in. Like, they're not. Brownlee's the guy you traded for.
Though, Will. So it's like, I understand what you're trying to do, and you're right. The problem is they don't do it because
that's what I'm saying. That Frankie's question, like, what do I want to see? That's very fixable, easy things that I'm like, oh, they get it. Self-evaluation. We were wrong. We're gonna move on it, because like during the Saleh regime, one thing I think we all hated was like they just would never move off guys. They couldn't do it. They just sit on these guys for years, and it's like, yo, you missed. It's okay.
Right, but Glenn was supposed to be different, and he's been exactly the same. He can
did
cut
a
as
deep
many
tackle.
kick returners as he wants. Like it doesn't matter. And I think my fear, Will, they've tuned him out. It's like, oh, you're Mr. No Nonsense tough guy, and then now all of a sudden now you're trying to be softer. Like now he's trying to be all friendly with the media during these pressers. Now he's not as combative because he was
ripping Sauce though yesterday. I don't know if you guys caught that after that touchdown. I don't know what that conversation was. I don't know if anybody asked about it. I thought he was about to bench him. It looked. It was. I don't know.
Let me ask you. Yeah. Sauce brought up it was a broken coverage. Was he was probably in man and didn't get safety help? I assume, right?
He didn't. Yeah. I think Adams was in the wrong spot.
Okay,
but.
Is that broken coverage really?
No, but it's just one of those things where, like, hey, man, like,
make a play,
dude. Difference, like, Pickens pushed off, and you didn't have safety help. That sucks, man. It's the NFL, unfortunately.
I know.
And Sauce, like, I like Sauce a lot, and I think I'm probably higher on him than most people. And before that, I thought he actually played well yesterday. He was tackling, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, we got Sauce from week 1 where he's. But man, like, it's one of those easy things in the New York market. Like, take a page out of Giancarlo Stanton's book or Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is just like, hey, man, got to be better. I don't – it doesn't matter. I have to be better. I have to make that play. And then no one talks about it. You know why? Because you owned it, you're accountable, and you move on. Is anyone blaming Sauce that the Jets lost yesterday? No one's saying that Sauce is the reason the Jets lost. You could easily just say, hey, man, unfortunate, didn't make the play there. I got to be better. I'm the highest paid corner in the NFL, and I expect more out of myself. Done. Then we're not talking about it at all. But because instead of like, I don't know, just that's one of those things easy, man. Like just an easy fixes. These are not complicated. Like we can go on and on about the talent or in Glenn and all this stuff. These are just easy elementary fixes that anybody in the league could do. Fans watching, me, us three, like just, dude, answer that question better. It's really not that complicated. It's just really not.
Well, I mean, this is as bad as it's been because I don't think there's any real hope.
Feels a lot like 2020 with fans, dude.
Yeah, but at least 2020 there was this great quarterback class that we were being sold on.
I just think the tension I feel like amongst the fan base is
this is bad though, Will, because that was year 2 of Gase, who never should have been hired. Glenn, people wanted to root for, and we wanted
Sam versus Zach territory, but Glenn versus not Glenn, which like we're 4 games in, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fact that this is the conversation with a new regime usually does get a grace period, but because of Glenn's inability to properly set the expectations, and I think his brashness, his arrogance, his cockiness, his bravado that he was trying to sell, and I get what he was trying to do, but you got to back it up. You can't, since he said they're not the same old Jets, they got embarrassed by a terrible Dolphins team that just lost to the Panthers yesterday, and they were a favorite against the Cowboys at home yesterday, missing 4/5 of their offensive line and 2/3 of their best receivers against the only defense in the league that's been worse than them. And they got their doors blown out, losing 30-6 going into the 4th quarter. So we could spin it however the Glenn truthers want to spin it. Right now, he has shown you nothing to believe. He's this team's long-term answer at coach. And I pray he shows it something and they win some games and we can feel a little better about this team going forward. Because you're right, he might not be fired even if they do win 2 games. I don't know.
We're already on the Glenn truthers. Jesus.
There's nothing to point to that gives me any hope. Really, honestly, there's nothing right now to point to.
I'm just laughing at some of the comments. It's like, it's an easy fix. Yeah, my point is there is a lot of complicated fixes. There is some things on this roster and week to week that I do think are easy fixes that I think all of us are on the same page that like, hey, I'd like to see some of the young guys that are going to be here potentially long-term. I felt like this in 2021 where like, some of these guys getting reps are like, hey, man, I don't really care. I just want to see Garrett Wilson in 2022 play because it's a young team. And, like, these guys' reps don't, like, I don't know, Lawrence Cager reps, like, cool, man. I want to see what Garrett Wilson has.
Lawrence Cager,
like,
yes.
At least yesterday, it feels like, okay, Arian Smith might suck. I don't think any of us have any idea what he's going to be. I'd like to see what he is and be like, at least next year, could be like, is he a wide receiver 4 in the league that's a part-time? Could he be a fun,
I've been wanting him to return kicks, Arian Smith, since week 2. Have the kid return kicks.
Like,
he's
who cares?
Fast. Get him the ball in his hand. Get him feeling the game.
Is he going to fumble?
Right? Never saw that before.
Yeah.
But
dude,
the easy. The easiest fix for this team, guys, the easiest fix is obviously the quarterback, and you spend some money on defense in the offseason. They can get the quarterback right with Tanner Engstrand, and you could spend a little money to fix that defense a bit. But I don't know if it's going to be easy, though, Will. I don't know. When you're 0-5 and, you know, it's not going to be easy. They're going to have to hit on some things. And
no, they're going to have to get lucky, right? They're going to have to hit on some day 3 guys. They're going to have to hit on a couple of free agents, a couple
their
of
day 3 picks look horrible so far. It's early. We'll give them more time. But Muji trading up for Tyler Barron. Honestly, I will own something I said. I said there's no way Tyler Barron could be worse than Michael Clemens.
No,
he actually is. I got to own it. I was wrong.
On the roster.
He actually is. Clemens is a better football player than Tyler Barron. I got to own that.
Although I did make a cut up of Clemens yesterday against Motion, and it is, oh boy.
It looks like the guy his first game playing football.
Yeah, it just, you know what is crazy to me is like, again, this is one of those things where like, I think all of us sat there in the beginning of the year. I was higher on this team than probably most, and I'll own that. I just thought first year head coach bump, we always see it with the Jets, usually year 1 outside of Salah, like all these guys overachieve big time year 1, and then year 2 is usually a regression. I feel like, they got a lot of bad kicking luck last year and penalties. Like Folk's been amazing. Like, of course they get a good kicking year when the team
doesn't matter.
Yeah. This is classic because next year they'll bring Folk back and he'll
suck.
He'll his growth in week 3. They'll have that fat dude Mevis kicking and like they'll lose.
True. Dude, that is so true. Next year, Nick Folk will come back.
That's 1,000,000% happening.
Dude, they'll be able to win these close games they can't win, but Folk will suck next year.
Patriots home opener. Folk pulls his guard in the first quarter. John Mateer's playing quarterback. We're all in. The fan base is going delirious. And Harrison Mevis misses a 32-yarder to win, and then they go 0-9. That is peak Jets.
I just, it's so bad, guys. I look at the only thing we could point to is that it's only been 5 games, but like that's all that Glenn can point to. That's a positive so far. Will, I mean, like this team is poorly coached. I'm very concerned about guys just completely checking out, especially with Wilkes. I think it's bad right now because normally, as we were talking about, a new regime would get some time. I sense the most. This is the most
really bad.
Yep, the tension right now in the fan base. I don't know if it's ever been higher this early for any new regime.
You guys feel this way, but like, let's just even go back to Salah or Gase, whatever. Usually, he was coming off already disappointing years, but like, there was no Super Bowl expectation that the previous. I mean, Bulls, I guess, had it a little bit, but not even really post Rex. I think everyone kind of knew it was done. Rex obviously had a really tough job, and I think anyone through the early 2000s, like those teams were really good. The difference was like this was 2 years of like such heightened excitement for this fan base of legitimately one of the 5 or 6 teams that go into Super Bowl. Where everyone's talking about the Jets at least preseason, and this like, dude, are they going to win back-to-back title games? Can Rodgers win an MVP in his 40s? Like top 5 defense. There was just a lot of expectation, and to go from that to like back to like you're not good and there is no expectation, and then kind of get this little bit of a bump of like, ooh, like. They're doing some things in camp they haven't done in 15 years. And like, it takes you back to the Rex years a little bit. It just, I don't know if even people are tuning him out. Maybe the guy, like some of the guys that I think would potentially be tuning out Glenn at this point is some of the guys who like will probably be traded or not here next year they're kind of holdovers. And if that's the case, like, I don't know, man, like if you're not going to bring Brees back, you kind of have to trade him. Comp pick wise with running backs is always a little bit dicey. Bang. I'm clueless, dude, but you are the dumbest person in the comment section.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me take matters into my own hands. Bang, farewell.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
We do not have any time to bang Mateo.
No, look, I'm not. I just, to me, like some of these guys, and I hate doing the whole like tankathon trade stuff already, but there is some guys that like, let's be honest, if you're not going to bring Quincy back, you probably got to move him because you'd probably rather the 3rd or 4th round pick. And trust me, like everyone's kind of low on what you could get back for guys like, hey man, Quincy's a former All-Pro. GMs buy into that stuff. They'll be like, oh, it's the Jets' fault that he's bad this year or they got hurt. Like they'll do that. And I'd love to keep Quincy here, but I don't know if it's realistic at this point, right? Same with Brees. Like, you don't want to start trading all your talent, but at the same time, if you need, I don't know, don't you probably need a 9 or 10 pick draft this year, guys? Like, you probably do need a full hefty class of guys. And if you can maintain, I don't know, let's say you had 4 fourth-round picks. Hey, there's 2 guys in the 3rd round we love. Let's go up and get them. Like, you want to have that flexibility. So yeah, no, I don't know. This is just going to be one of those weird.
It sucks with Brees, man, because it just sucks with Brees because I was texting with Jake yesterday. I don't want to get a 3rd rounder for Brees makes sense, right? People are talking about
but if
I don't want a 3rd rounder for Brees. Like,
I know.
I want a 2nd rounder for Brees because I think if Brees goes somewhere, if Brees goes somewhere like Kansas City, or the Chargers, let's say, like if he goes somewhere that, you know, a team could use that kid and get over the hump. I mean, Saquon Barkley's a case study with a player like Brees Hall. They could point to it. So, would a team give us a 3rd rounder? Maybe not, but I don't want just a 3rd rounder.
I almost feel like they have a better chance of getting a better pick now than if they waited until the off.
I think so, totally, man.
Because if you could talk somebody like, I don't know, Indy's a bad example for this, but maybe defensively. Like, Indy's probably sitting there like, yeah, we're a lot better than we thought we were going to be. Like, do we go pick up Quincy Williams for our 3rd rounder? Because, like, hey, we have a young roster. We have to start paying guys anyways. Like, we don't need more rookies. Maybe Quincy makes this defense even a little bit better, and we could go win 11, 12 games because we're to capitalize on the Daniel Jones thing. Or, like, I don't know. I'm just using that as an example. I've not heard that. I've absolutely zero idea on that. But my point being, like, you can talk teams into who think they're kind of starting to feel it a little bit of like, hey, we might be pretty damn good. I don't know. Like, there's just a couple of guys. I don't think it's everybody. The one interesting one, and I know Connor Hughes keeps pointing up. I don't know how you guys feel on this, but like, that would be tough for me to stomach unless you're really getting, like, you got to get blown out of the water, in my opinion, just because it's tough, dude. He's been like, you paid him, and he's kind of
an anchor up there.
He's an anchor there, and it's just like that's a tough one. How do you replace that? I don't know.
You're not going. We're not going to. You'd have to allocate those resources. You'd have to allocate those resources somewhere else if you're going to get. I mean, you'd get a 1st rounder for Quentin.
Yeah, but that's right? I honestly, maybe this is delusional. I think you'd want more for Quentin, just knowing like.
Yeah.
I know someone's going to pay at the deadline to take your best player, probably, or outside of Garrett. Like,
I don't think you could do that in season, Will, because we got to remember too, if this is as bad as it looks,
like around the locker room, like, hey, we traded Quinnen, who's been like a soldier through 3 regimes. It's tough.
Quinnen may want to leave though.
Yeah, that's
the other part. Yeah,
wait for the offseason.
Yeah.
Like, to me, Will, I said this to Frankie earlier. I think there's 3 untouchables on this team in my mind right now. I think it's Garrett and the 2 tackles, but Quinnen's probably there for me, but I got to at least listen if someone's going to offer me 2 first-round picks like the Jamal Adams trade all over again.
If Jermaine looks good the next 3 weeks and someone calls you and offers a 2, are you taking it?
I don't know if I will, because
we're paying him 15 next year, right on that 5th year.
Yeah.
2. He's had a lot of injuries.
Honestly, I would personally take because only because
you're gonna be healthy.
He can't stay healthy. That's the thing with Jermaine. I feel bad for the guy.
But McDonald's a one-dimensional player, so it's like
true. Yeah,
I'd rather invest in Jermaine long term than Will. But I need to see Jermaine come back, play well the rest of the way, and not have any more injuries.
Yeah.
That's another one you asked. Like, I mean, that's not a Glenn question, but I guess like I really want to.
He's the GM too.
Guys that are good, be good at some point this year, because like it would really suck to go into next year of like, we don't really know if we have a coach. We think our core might suck.
We have a rookie quarterback. We have no idea if he's in a good spot.
This is ready to go January 6th on MetLife Stadium anytime they play a home game. Like, it's a pretty bad combination right now.
They got to win games. That's the big thing, right? That's why when we talk about like all these things they got to do, like ultimately what they have to do is win football games. So it's the only positive thing Aaron Glenn can point to is that it's been 5 games. They've been awful. They've been getting worse every week since that first game. But that's all he could point to. I mean, this stat I just think is damning by Brian Giberman. Give him all the credit in the world. Since week 1, the only complete game they played, the Jets have not scored an offensive touchdown until they've fallen behind by 2 touchdowns. This is the biggest indictment on how bad the defense is. And then the offense is not built to play in shootouts. So they struggle until it's garbage time. That Justin Fields becomes Patrick Mahomes. That's the problem.
Yeah. Guys, another thing we have to realize, and I know you guys realize this and most fans do, but the NFL's 60-70% coaching, man. And not just coaching by the head coach, it's coaching by the coordinators, the positional coaches. You got to just have a really good staff out there. Now, the quarterback's the other biggest part of that equation. But if you have good coaching, man, you can win games. Listen, and I'm with Will on this Patriots thing. Now they're 3-2. Everyone's talking about the Patriots. Oh, I think it could be a little bit overrated a bit.
How about the Jaguars? How about the Bears? All these teams with first year coaches are doing better.
We all liked Cohen. I think that was one of those, like, I think that, again, this is not absolving the Jets. So before the three people in the comments that always like to say I'm being like a shill for the Jets, I'm not. I'm just telling you the reason they didn't request interviews is because those guys were not going to take interviews here. So, like, I'm not trying to defend Woody and 33 of those guys. It's just the reality of the situation. Like, some guys don't get requested, and it's not that the Jets don't want to talk to them, that those guys between agents and other things have been told, hey, like, we're going to decline. So instead of making you look bad that we decline, I just want to make that clear because, like, I've seen a lot of, why didn't the Jets interview Cohen? Dude, every single person that had a brain wanted them to interview Cohen. I think the Jets would have loved to have interviewed him. I don't think that was ever happening. And he also wasn't going to take that job until he got the previous GM rightfully fired and got paid a boatload of money. So, like, let's just not defending the Jets. I'm just want to make sure there's context around that job because there was a little bit of, dude, they're averaging, if you take out, Arian Smith's stupid reverse against the Bills, they have 732 rushing yards on 133 carries. Like, they lead the league in rushing. They're doing exactly what we thought. They haven't thrown a single interception this year.
That's wild, isn't it? And you're 0-5 with those numbers?
They threw one. Sorry, the Tyrod one. But, like, Fields hasn't thrown one.
Yeah, Fields hasn't thrown
Garrett's numbers look as good as they've ever looked through 5 games.
Will, do you agree with me? I want Justin Fields. I said this on with Ryan the other day, and I told Jake, I want Fields to throw the ball down the field and throw an interception.
He's a big
they got to stop hiding this guy. Let him throw it. It's okay if he throws a pick. It's not the end of the world. At least get him moving the ball down the field. They're within like a 10-yard window with this kid until the end of the game when they're playing deep back, cover 4, and then he just thinking dunks. It's like let him rock a little bit. I don't know.
Even the defensive side of the football, like, one thing I think all people in our Discord were asking about this, and like, hey, what, if Glenn were to take over, his defenses, in Detroit, like, weren't always that good. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't really care about the total yards because I think, though, in today's NFL, like we saw with Salah's defenses, they were really good and they didn't give a lot of yards, but they lose a lot of games 19-13 and, like, they didn't ever turn the football over. I thought what I was getting into this year was going to be they're going to get more yards. They're going to do a lot of these different things that maybe we're going to get frustrated. They're going to hit the quarterback a ton, and they're going to turn the football over a lot. It'd be this high variance defense where guys are going to pick it off. They're forcing fumbles. They're big hits. Like, again, not as, like, tightly knit of a group, but it's going to be one of those groups where, like, the Steelers this year on defense. The Steelers defense sucks, like, down by down, but they cause a ton of turnovers and hit the quarterback a lot, and that's why they're 3-1, right? Like, I don't know. I'm very puzzled by, like, why they can't ever turn the football over.
I have no idea. I've been trying to figure this out for years.
They don't come close. They don't come close.
They don't come close.
The guy's wide open. They had 3 coverage breakdowns yesterday. They're getting worse, not better. That's what's alarming. I'm telling you, if they finish with 2 wins, Glenn's got to go. I'll say it. Like,
no, listen, man, you're not.
What about 3 wins?
Yeah, you're not.
What about 4 wins?
The problem is they're going to win 2. You already know what's going to happen. Like, it's sickening to think about. They're going to win 2 of their final 3 games. Like, you could almost guarantee it that they will probably beat, or maybe they'll win the Saints game and the Bills game.
Jake, you know the answer. They're beating Buffalo week 18.
100%.
They're resting their starters. They're missing out on Nick Bosa again. We know how this goes.
And you know what Glenn's going to say in the post game? Look, not the year we wanted, but love the way we finished. We're building on some great things. Hit it, AG. And if I don't play that, I'm going to cry because, like, I really want Aaron Glenn to be the guy, but you cannot sell me BS. It's been all BS so far. They are a worse coach team than they've been, and I thought Obrick and Salah were terrible, especially Obrick. Greg Olsen nailed it this morning on TV. They fired a defensive coach to then hire another defensive coach, and the defense is worse, and the offense is not that much better, if at all. It's terrible. Terrible.
Like I said, man, it's hard in year one of a regime where it's 5 games in, you try not to overreact, but it's hard not to react to what's going on. I just want to, it's so startling that, dude, we talked about this on your show in week 1. If week 1 was happening all year, hey, they were 2-15, but they're really freaking competitive in every game. And it was a legit competitive. No one would care. We'd all be like, cool, man. We got the number 2 overall pick, number 1 overall pick. We're going to get our franchise quarterback. But this team lost 9 one-score games. And whatever, I don't know, whatever, make up the stats, whatever you want to, you can talk yourself into it. That's not what the case is. They look a lot more like the Kottie Jets and the Patriots and all these different teams last year, through 5 weeks. And you hope it changes, but it's not like they have played the first 3 weeks. Yeah, they played a bunch of really good teams. The last 2 weeks, man, they haven't exactly played world beaters. And not getting pressure on the quarterback at all the last couple of weeks, especially when Tampa Bay's entire O-line felt like it was out. Miami's O-line stinks and had injuries. And then yesterday, 4 starters for the Cowboys. I like a lot of these players, but geez, man, I don't feel like I've seen Dak or Baker get hit. Did you? I don't know. Did we? I mean, I guess McGregor slid into Dak yesterday.
Yeah, that was 1 sack for the negative 1 yard.
Yeah, nice. Really.
Will, I was saying this. I was telling Jake, it's shocking to me that there was not one play that Quinnen, Will, McGregor, Clemens, whomever, Phillips, Briggs, blew up the offensive.
Yeah, not
line,
even
man.
one quick win.
One. I didn't see one. I was like, these guys are UDFAs, man. These guys are backup offensive linemen. Now, granted, Dallas was doing a lot of things with sliding protections, misdirection, play action. So
team.
Yeah, very well coached. I was shocked. Actually, after that game, I'm like, damn, Shoddy's a pretty damn good offensive coach right there.
It's crazy, dude. You look at them preseason, if you look at their coaching staff and you saw the Eberflus and Schottenheimer-led Cowboys, you're like, and they traded Micah, you're like, man, they're going to be the worst team in football. But they have an MVP-level quarterback. Also, my hottest take, and I'm a huge Rodgers guy. I always was. He's pissed me off, obviously, I think, like a lot of us the last, X amount of months. But, dude, in the time machine, instead of Dak signing that extension, the Jets trade for Dak. They're probably been in the playoffs the last 2 years, and if not this year, we're talking about is that not a big what if? We don't ever talk about it, but I would have rather paid Dak $60 million a year than
is Dak staying healthy with the Jets though? Rodgers went down right away, which kind of ruined everything. Dak's had so many injuries too.
I don't know. People don't like Dak, but he's really fun to watch in person. He is an unbelievable, the way he moves in the pocket and so calm all the time, and just guys are wide open and he hits them.
He's a good quarterback. But when he's playing without his
2 years ago, and he's going to finish top 3 this year. I don't know why people hate Dak. Stop watching Stephen A. Smith, and maybe you'd appreciate he's a top 7 or 8 guy. It is what it is.
Oh, he's a really good quarterback. Problem is the Jets have put themselves in the spot where they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. They were a betting favorite somehow in that game yesterday. The Cowboys missed 4 of their 5 starters. They didn't have CeeDee Lamb. They didn't have Cavante Turner. It's a joke, man. And this is a defensive coach.
That kid Flournoy had
who?
Flournoy.
I know that's the problem.
102 yards all of last year.
In the first half, he had
109. He had 114 yards. It looked like Justin Jefferson, a 46-yard long. Flournoy. That's terrible. That's
6th-round pick off their practice squad, torching the Jets, who invested heavily in their secondary.
Yeah.
You know what? Jake did say something, Will, and you said something before, and I agree with you. And I think because I'm looking at the fan base online, I go on all these spaces and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Fans are super down right now. And even the fans that were the homers, quote unquote, they're off this whole thing. No, seriously, everyone's off this thing.
Remember, people got mad at me 2 weeks ago when I flipped out when Glenn said they're not the same old Jets. Oh, Jake, how dare you? Look who they played. Now the last 2 weeks they've been worse against bad teams.
I try to play that's how I feel. I try to be realistic and reasonable, but I'm an optimistic person by nature. That's how I am. I'm never going to change on that.
What's wrong with that too?
I'm being a homer. I'm optimistic about every team.
They say a homer, but what I was saying is Jake might be right. Glenn's messaging and all this
that's
bravado and confidence, and we're going to win now. I think people bought into that. And then they're like, what the hell? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And the messaging was he's probably right. The messaging was probably off. I don't take the messaging too seriously, me as a fan. I just don't. Like,
he did. He believed it. That's not move the
Yeah.
goalpost. Like, maybe you didn't, but fans bought in, and he sold it. Quinton Williams said, here comes another rebuild, and this was Glenn being asked about that at the Combine.
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. So any questions?
My question to
Dude,
you, Aaron, is when does the winning start?
My biggest red flag in this whole thing, and then selfishly, I asked Muji at the Combine, hey, you guys split Rodgers' cap hit over 2 years. I'm just curious, the thinking behind that. Easy layup, dude, to be like, hey, man, we want to be able to compete this year and next year. And with the cap going up, we're going to, that's just what we thought was best for us to be able to compete this year and next year. And while we're going through a bit of a retooling, and you could have used such like good language to be like, hey, like, I'm not going to answer your question, but that was a good chance to be, it's a layup, dude. I'm just asking a question. Oh, well, we're still discussing that. What? What are you discussing? You've already done it. I don't understand. That's incredibly like confusing. I'm telling you, I just keep going back to that Rodgers cap hit decision of like, I was fully on board with like, it's not going to work with Glenn here. The Jets are on a different timeline than Rodgers. Rodgers, and people can get mad at me about this, like, he has not been that good this year. I think his ADOT's the lowest ADOT in like 9 years in the NFL. But they're winning, so it doesn't matter. And he's allowed to talk trash, and he gets to do what he wants to do because that's the way it works, right? You win, you get to talk. Just, victors go to spoils. But like Rodgers not being here is not a thing. It doesn't matter for me. And neither is Devontae. Devontae was never coming back if Rodgers wasn't back, right? I think we all agreed. But redoing Devontae's deal and then cutting CJ, obviously was the neck and whatever, and Rodgers, and then splitting cap hits over 2 years, like. Dude, I'm telling you, if the messaging was like, we're not going to be good this year, and hopefully we surprise you with 6 or 7 wins, we show some compete level, and it's like we change the culture, people would feel very differently right now.
Or Fields breaks out, and our defense, which is supposed to be the strength, plays great. We can win 9 games.
They're pleasantly optimistic, as opposed to everyone kind of went in and was like fired up about the Rodgers game, which I was too. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I wasn't. And it's like, ooh, like Josh Allen, Bills coming in, like, can we surprise them? And then you kind of start to get in this like rabbit hole of
they didn't show up. That was the first alarming sign. They didn't show up for a division game at home in week 2. Miami played Buffalo tight. They suck. The Patriots went into Buffalo last night and won. I don't think they're that great, but they're well coached, and Drake May's getting better. He's developing. Patriots were bad for 2 fucking years, and now they might have a quarterback, and we already know they have a coach. Like, I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it.
It reminds me of Jets, like early Jets Sam. I don't know if you guys see it too. Like, he's got the bozo gene a little bit where he just does like dumb things, but he likes to, when he rolls out outside of the pocket, like he makes a lot of really good plays. He's tough as nails. He takes a bunch of hits. He kind of just keeps hanging in there. And that's a compliment, man. Like, I think if Sam had the right coaching, if Sam had Mike Vrabel when he was here, like maybe things would have gone differently and he'd be the Sam he is now. But
that's what the Rodgers thing shows, Will, to your point on that. Like, it's not that Rodgers is playing great with the Steelers. He's playing around, for the most part, what he was doing with the Jets. He'll have moments where he looks really good. He's beating teams with his mind, like really good breakdowns online of him identifying coverage and making the right decision. But it just accentuates that's a real coach team. Mike Tomlin's Mike Tomlin. He's never had a losing record. The Jets are the Jets.
Yeah. They got a kicker and an offensive coordinator who I don't think is even that great, but you know what he does? He puts Rodgers in his place a little bit. And he's at least willing to have a conversation and not just be a cuck. And unfortunately, the Jets staff kind of got cucked out to Rodgers the last couple of years. And
yeah, they did.
And that was like the biggest mistake. I think the whole Rodgers situation was, and I understand why they did it. I don't blame the Jets at all, but they kind of just gave him the keys to the organization and were like, fix us. And Rodgers, if you really look, played his best football throughout his whole career. He's obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's top 5 all time. His best football was under like Tyron level Mike McCarthy early on, where he's like, you're running my offense. Like, you run my offense. You do what I tell you to do. MVP Super Bowl. First couple years into the floor, you run my offense. You do what I tell you to do. Like, multiple MVPs, conference title games. The year that he kind of did whatever he wanted, the last year in Green Bay, they stunk. And he got hurt. And then the 2 years of the Jets, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's so many mistakes along the line. I keep going back to the edge room, what they did to the edge room the last, 3 years. They don't know. People can correct me if they want. If you don't offer a guy a contract, you didn't offer the contract, even if you were going to. So it doesn't really matter. You don't re-sign Huff or trade him. A million times could have done that. You trade JFM for a bag of pennies because you panicked for Hassan Reddick, who you didn't even end up paying. Hassan Reddick sucked Like, then you signed Brandon Stevens to take away the comp pick you got for Hassan Reddick being stupidly signed by the Bucks. It's just like, holy hell, man. JFM's going to have 3 sacks this weekend. It's the
Oh,
reality.
yeah. Come on. They're going to get destroyed. You're going to London, aren't you, Will?
Oh, yeah. I leave on Thursday.
You poor bastard. Now, I'm going to let you guys go because I really appreciate you hopping on for as long as you both have. But I just want to update people on some terrible breaking news.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
So we've all been following the Mark Sanchez situation, and the latest is that he is now facing a felony charge.
Wow.
For the altercation. So he's facing jail time, people. 1 to 6 years.
Hand up. My initial reaction was this story was fishy, and Mark was a really good dude, and I've met him. So I basically I was, I guess, wrong. I'm not saying thought Mark was innocent. I just felt like it was really fishy. It was like, why is Mark Sanchez like beating up an Uber Eats driver? That seems very
that is insane. Like this story, somebody brought up something online, and they go, he was either heavily intoxicated or he was on some other stuff. Because
is he actually doing wind sprints? Is that like a real thing?
Huh?
Is he actually doing wind sprints in the alley? Is that a real thing?
That was in the story. I saw that somewhere, but I don't know the article.
Yeah.
Apparently he was doing wind sprints in the alley. Dude, you're that is got.
It's like you are Cortland, Will. You know?
Yeah, he's got lace drugs written all over it, man. That is.
Yeah, man. I mean, you never know. I mean, he's doing media stuff. Sanchez. He's like,
he's done. He's done now. We'll never do a call game again.
Like, geez,
no, he'll take the Tom Brenneman route, dude. He'll be doing CW 11 games in no time.
Jake was so funny yesterday. Jake, when you said you're like, what a weekend the Jets had. Our team presidents accused of sexual misconduct. Our former star quarterback stabbed some guy. Like,
well, I mean, seriously, like here's a timeline of the Jets weekend. We take you to Friday night.
Jets, Jake. It's Thursday night. Cam Schlittler has one of the best playoff performances for the Yankees we've ever seen from a pitcher. I wake up Friday morning. Yeah. Me, right? October 3rd is what? Friday?
Friday. This is Friday. I have the headlines right here. You ready, Will? Yeah. This is Friday. This is the result of the story coming out on Saturday. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we take you to MetLife Stadium yesterday. Will Parkinson almost melted having to watch his beloved New York Jets hit rock bottom with the headline saying Aaron Glenn might go down with them.
Nick, then you have to fast forward to I'm in the car, right? Leaving, driving, have the game on. And before I blink, it's 9-0 in the second fucking inning. And I was like, I actually want this car to go off the side of the GW Bridge. I'd be so much happier.
Dude, I did the post-game show while it was going on.
Dude, I'm a very optimistic, positive person. I feel like Frank the Tank. I want a gun in my mouth immediately. It's awful. Like it is. If I had glasses, I'd break them. Like I just would. I get it. I get it now.
Look, the good news is you're going to London, and the Jets are definitely going to win against Sean Payton.
Dude, none of us are laughing at the Uber guy being stat. Like that. Can you relax? I hate when people do this.
Oh, it's a horrible situation, Bob. We're talking about just a weekend from hell for the Jets.
Sanchez potentially doing wind sprints in the alley before he gets arrested. Like,
yeah,
just relax. I hate that shit. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Ridiculous. Will, Frankie, you guys are awesome. Thank you both for coming on the program.
Appreciate you guys.
Of course, enjoy it. Frankie, keep crushing the pod. It's been enjoyable.
Appreciate you, man. Enjoy London, man. And Badlands is great, brother.
That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie V, Will Pa, uSTADIUM, Badlands, TOJ Pod. Man. All right, I'm going to work backwards on the super chats here. Appreciate everyone tuned in. I'm going to get to your calls as well. I also want to hear from our beloved head coach who spoke this morning, and I'm sure he talked about all the wonderful changes this team is going to make. So this will be a bit of a longer show. And for those who are wondering, where's Joe B? Joe B will be on with us at 4:30. All right. I'm going to start with Mimosa's super chat, though, because it's a $100 super chat. Mimosa, you are the best. Thank you for your support. She was at the game yesterday. She writes in, Jake will always support you regardless how bad the Jets are. Game was terrible. The most exciting part was getting kicked out of MetLife. I got an email yesterday from Mimosa's brother, Jerry Jett. The subject headline was Mimosa got kicked out of MetLife. And I'm like, what? And then I wrote, for what? She smacked a hat off a Dallas fan. Chip off the old block. So, Mimosa, we love you. And Honestly, you getting kicked out of MetLife, you showed more fight than the entire Jets defense, so you had that going for you. Love it. So shout out to you.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
Brutal. Mimosa, you're in our raffle for 20. For those tuning in late, we are going to raffle away a signed Joe Klecko football at the end of the show. Let me get caught up on some super chats now, shall we? This one is from Gonzo. Jets still finding creative ways to lose at this point. I'm not even mad, just impressed. Still loyal, though, for reasons I can't explain. Look, I'm loyal too, man. I love the people who are, go root for another team. No, man. I'm going to be critical of the Jets because I love them. They're my team. I have no choice. I make my living talking about them for 4 hours a day. You don't think I want them to win? It sucks. Mike Perez says, I don't want to hear we don't have the guys, yet the Titans, Giants, Saints have wins with worse talent. Team gave up. Maybe our best players aren't good at all. I don't know if it's necessarily that, Mike. I don't think our best players are being put in the best positions to succeed. And some of them just need to play better, man. Sauce, make a play. Quinn Williams, 4 backup O-linemen yesterday. Make some plays. Will McDonald, where have you been since week 1? I thought Aaron Glenn was talking about coaching unlocking Will McDonald. We haven't seen it. Jamie Sherwood looks terrible. I know Quincy's out. I know Jermaine is out. It's not an excuse for the defense to be. If the Jets defense was mediocre, they wouldn't be winless right now. I think they'd be 2-3. I think we all would sign for 2-3. We'd have hope. We'd have a season. We have nothing right now. Jake West. Jake, if we win 2 in a row, then what? Then I'll be happy. All right? I love if they win 2 in a row. If I have sex with Margot Robbie tonight, then what, Jake West? Like, are we going to play that game? We're judging it based on what we're seeing. Since week 1, it has gotten worse, not better. This stat, I think, is the best stat I have seen from anyone. And I don't know who Brian Gibberman is on Twitter, but you're the man, Brian, because he's right. Since week 1, the Jets have not scored an offensive touchdown until they've fallen behind by 2 touchdowns. The stat padding is all it is. The fake comebacks. The fake comeback in Tampa. That was a fake comeback. I lived it. I was there. Miami, fake comeback. Oh, they got a late score, onside kick. They're technically only losing by 1 score. They got embarrassed by a Dolphins team that sucks. There are 13 games left. We have time. That's the only thing Glenn can point to, that he's only 5 games in. There's nothing he could say tangibly that, there's no tangible thing we could point to as fans, unfortunately, and say, well, at least they're doing this great. At least this is an area of improvement. You could say the running game, I guess. It's not enough, man. Not when you fumble the amount of times they do. Anthony Lozerato in the raffle for 5. Thank you, Anthony. I am going to send your Wayne Corbett signed jersey away when I get done with the show today, so thank you. Since the year 2000, 65% of the league has at least made a Super Bowl appearance. That is 21 of 32 teams in the league. League is designed to give everyone a chance, but somehow we can't get it right. That's the most disappointing part. The league is built for parity. The Giants, as bad as they are and have been, they made the playoffs a few years ago. This is the longest playoff drought in professional sports in a league where the bad teams get rewarded with top picks and easier schedule. Fighter Jet, do you feel confident in drafting a quarterback in the top 5 if Glenn is still here? I don't want to fire Glenn, but team game up. That's why, he's got to get this figured out, man. They got to play for him. We got to see something. I'm not saying fire the coach. I'm really not. And if Woody Johnson's out there, don't meddle. Give him the entire year. Don't do a damn thing. Don't tell me he's got to fire Wilkes or anything. Aaron Glenn gets the whole year, and then we evaluate. The idea that he can't be fired, I think, is nonsense. If you already know he's not your guy, cut your losses. I need to see improvement, man. The bar is low, and they can't even clear that bar. Do I trust Glenn? No, I don't trust anyone. I'd rather trade out of the number 1 pick if we're having this conversation now and get me a bunch of picks, and I'll take whichever quarterback's left. I'll take the best of the best of what is left. Patrick Mahomes, not the first pick in the draft. Lamar Jackson, the last pick of the first round. I can keep going. Josh Allen was like the 3rd quarterback taken that year. Let the other teams that also suck take their quarterbacks. We'll take what's ever left. Cash Money Mike, the biggest mistake Glenn has done so far is not bringing anyone with him from the Lions to preach his message, a.k.a. Bart Scott with Rex. There's no veteran leadership in the locker room. I think that is a fair criticism. I also think they misevaluated the current roster. This idea that Glenn was just pretending like they were going to win now and he didn't mean it is such bullshit. If you actually believe that, I'm sorry. I can't help you. He was very arrogant with his ability to coach these guys. And we loved it at the time if he backed it up, right? I loved when he was like, coaching, man, when he's talking about Will McDonald. Love it. Back it up. You can't talk like Bill Parcells and then start 0-5 and be the first Jet coach to ever do that. Rick Gordon, all starts with the coaching. Why does Woody continually refuse to get a superstar coach to right the ship? Look what Vrabel's done in 5 games. Look, they were never going to get Vrabel once New England fired Mayo. But remember, they could have had Brian Flores, who's from Brooklyn, had a winning record in the AFC East the last 2 years he was the head coach with way worse talent. Give him another chance. Learned from his first mistakes in Miami. They didn't even interview Mike McCarthy. Why? Because he would have said, bring back Aaron Rodgers like Mike Tomlin just did. That's what it comes down to. Whether you agreed with the Rodgers decision or not, the fact that I truly believe they limited their candidates to people they knew would be on board with moving on from Rodgers, I think is a disgrace. Phantom Green and White. Sauce has been such a disappointment. He doesn't make plays ever, and he never has. I'm officially worried about him even being more than what he is. He's not their biggest problem, but he's part of the problem until he starts making plays. KJH in the raffle for 2. There's a core group of losers on this roster. There needs to be an exorcism of bad/loser players from the roster before a new coach can establish his changes. Not that Glenn is doing a good job. So I think this is fair, but my pushback would be Glenn chose to keep some of these quote-unquote losers, to use your term. He extended Sherwood. He paid Sauce. Now, Garrett's been a great move. But it's not even those guys. I don't think Sauce, I wouldn't even throw Sauce in that category. So if Sauce is in a winning program, he's going to be the best corner in the league again. Wilkes is doing him no favors. Let's be fair. I'm not even talking about those guys. Why is Clemens here? Why was Gibson here? Why was Tony Adams retained? Why'd they spend $36 million on Brandon Stevens? Ravens fans celebrated him leaving. You don't think that's alarming? Like, go down the line, man. Some of their decisions were to keep some of these said losers or add said losers to their team. Cisco has been a bad signing, right? They retained Isaiah Oliver. He had two of the biggest missed tackles of the game yesterday. Watch that touchdown run. They had 13 missed tackles for 179 yards in the first half yesterday. There's bad, and then there's that. Wayne, Frankie's right. Wilkes needs to be canned. I don't think Glenn's going to do it. Dan says over under 3.5 more consecutive games without a first half touchdown. It's a joke. I'd probably bet the over right now. Maybe Carolina, they could score a first half touchdown. I hope I'm wrong. I really do, especially because I'm going to be on the air while this game is going on for the first 3 quarters of it. I think they're going to get killed this week. I think they are going to get killed. JJ says, last night of the Nick Shine show, Boomtown reminded me 10 months ago, Aaron Glenn was on my top 5 head coach candidate list. What the F was I thinking? Fire him. I was wrong about AG and Fields. Roster sucks besides GW. See, don't fall into that trap, though. The roster doesn't suck. Are there some clear areas where they are not good? Absolutely. Folks, look what they've invested in the offensive line. Mason Taylor is a player. That's a good pick by Muji and Glenn. Give him credit. Membu had a bad game yesterday. He's been great the first 4 games. I don't care about yesterday. Tippman's a good guard. Simpson's a good guard. Olu, a little up and down, but he's still very good. Like many teams in the league would trade their guy for him in a second. We don't need to do the revisionist history. All the roster set. No, man. And you weren't wrong for having AG as a legitimate head coaching candidate. Aaron Glenn was qualified for the job. Let's be clear. My issue with Glenn was never Glenn. It was first time head coach, defensive background. This to me was a job not for someone that's never done it before. Glenn looks overwhelmed. He doesn't have answers now. He doesn't. I don't think he realized how difficult this was going to be. And I think he needed a win. And I talked about this, so it's sickening that it's coming to life. I think they really needed a win early. Because then I think you get buy-in. I think they quit on Wilkes, which is an extension of Glenn. And the offense is not good enough to be in shootouts. I think that's what's happening here. Like, I think the offense, if they could play to their quote-unquote game script, they can win. Run the ball, take care of the ball, which they don't do. Not be down by 10 or more. They're down by 10 or more in every game. Every game besides the first one, which they blew because Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji decided to keep Xavier Gibson on this team. Sorry. So, like, I think the problem is because they didn't get a win early, now it's snowballing. Guys are like, F this, we were a better defense with Salah. We're not believing in this. I think that it's not necessarily fair to Glenn that these players have that mentality, that they're that unprofessional or they're that mentally weak, however you want to describe it. But it's his job to now fix it. Once again, the only positive thing you could say about Aaron Glenn in year one is that he still has 13 more games to go. Now, for us, that sounds horrific. For him, he needs to show you something over these 13 games. Otherwise, the one and done Gerard Mayo conversation is only going to get louder, and I don't want to do that. That's you want Aaron Glenn to be fired and be remembered for being coat-tight level bad? That was a great chat. But he's got to show us something, man. I don't think Robert Kraft wanted to fire Gerard Mayo, but guess what? He did because there was a better coach out there available. Ravens fired John Harbaugh. See you later, Aaron Glenn. Blank check, Woody. I remember, it's so funny. Remember I said I'd trade the 7th overall pick for Mike Tomlin and people flipped out? What's the Jets' record of Mike Tomlin's their coach right now? And I like Membu, but come on, people. He's a right tackle. They need someone like that. They need a proven program builder. And if they can't get that guy, someone who's won a lot, Mike McCarthy would have been fine. Maybe he's not the end-all be-all, but he would have got this program back on track. Like, if you can handle Jerry Jones, you can handle being the Jet coach. The guy won 12-plus games like every year in Dallas that Dak was healthy. The Rooster says, we have hired an all-time coach from hell, a rare combo of coat-type Mangini, Gase, Bowles, Salah. Can you believe it? I would hire Steve Spagnuolo, been a head coach, let him keep Tanner or choose OC. I can't tell you you're wrong for liking Spags. He was horrible his first go-around as a head coach. So 15 years ago, right? I don't think he's ever going to get a chance, though. Unfortunately. I like Spags personally. He's come on the show a bunch on my radio show. Doan says, Jake, you're right. This team doesn't deserve us, but I will be here with you and all the diehards to the end. As Maniac Madness, here we go. We might need to start as Maniac Madness in December this year. God, what are we going to be talking about till this season ends? JJ says this is Mike T's fault. Stay away for the next head coaching search. I'll be sure to let Mike know that for you, JJ, when I work with him on Sunday at 8 a.m. Spencer Green says, Will, you can't be 10-7 without losing the first 5. Here we go, baby. Winning streak starts now. Big fella, why the hell is AZ Thomas not playing? Because we like losing, big fella. We love to suck. C says, Salah holdovers need the boot. The losing is so ingrained into this team. They lay down and die the second adversity hits. Sauce needs to start acting like the highest paid corner on and off the field. Agreed. Tyrone, I always felt Glenn is rah-rah coach in your face. Motivations today's young people don't respond to that. You have to use a different approach. He had a Hall of Fame quarterback, should have kept him. I mean, you guys know where I standed with Aaron Rodgers, so yeah, I would have kept Rodgers and kept Devontae. Sco, what happened to Sauce Gardner? I mean, I think the scheme does him no favors, and I think he's got to be more accountable and make plays. Right? That quick slant is not on Steve Wilkes. That's Sauce allowed, right? They brought the pressure. Dak knew it was coming. Cisco, I think, was the one coming on the blitz. Pickens, he ran a quick slant. Dak threw a good ball. Sauce, make a play. Third down, get off the field. EB says, do you guys think they're going a little too hard during the week and dudes are gassed before the games? No, I don't. I mean, you know what? I don't know. I'm not at practice. I could just go by what the head coach said that they had a good week of practice. I don't think the Jets should practice this week because they're going to get killed either way. So at least we could say, well, it's because they didn't practice. If they practice and still get killed, then I have even more questions. Bernard Nixon in the house. Bernard, where you been, man? How's Aaron Rodgers taste? Will, you're the GOAT in my book, bro. Bernard, appreciate you watching. Spencer Green says, Gorman announced yesterday he's a Colts fan. Charles Gorman is a Colts fan now? If these allegations are true, Charles Gorman might be facing an Asmaniac suspension, the likes of which we've never seen before. One thing you can't do is ever give up on your team, as bad as things are. And we are bad right now. But if Charles Gorman is becoming a Colts fan, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here if true? What a disgrace.
JETS. All right, let's go.
He likes Daniel Jones that much?
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
Sad. SPS says the bar is so low you can't even limbo under it. Jets still find a way to disappoint. Unreal. Ryan McCarthy says between the Jaime allegations, the Sanchez stabbing and arrest, and yesterday's disastrous game, this might have been the worst weekend the Jets have had in recent memory. Friday night, Jets ex-employee trading lawsuits over sexual harassment allegations, conspiracy to get President Jaime El-Hai fired. Saturday, Mark Sanchez now facing felony charge for altercation in which he was stabbed. Yesterday, Jets becoming the first football team to start 0-5 and have 0 takeaways. Banner weekend. And to make matters worse, the number 1 overall seed in Asmaniac Madness last year did this.
Hello, everybody. The Jets ended up losing to the Cowboys 37-22. Despite underutilizing Brees Hall, he ended up having a great game and, of course, fumbling the football. Justin Fields, despite getting sacked 5 times, threw for nearly 300 yards. But as we all know, this team sucks. There's no such thing as moral victories. You know the whole 9 yards. But this is not why I'm making this video. I'm officially announcing that for the remainder of the season, I have chosen to adopt the Indianapolis Colts as my team this year. Because they're playing very good football. They're listening to their coach. They're not making stupid decisions. They're forcing takeaways. They're getting stops on defense. They look like not only a very good football team, but a smart football team. Now, don't worry. I'll still always be a Jet fan. But enough's enough. Even as a Jet fan, you got to say enough of this bullshit, and you got to expect better. So, yeah, I pretty much took a page out of Purple Belt Mike's book and choosing to adopt the team just for this year. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace out.
I'll tell you what, Charles, you got a lot of explaining to do because that is fraudulent behavior. You can't root for the Colts and adopt them as your team. Somebody get Charles Gorman on the line immediately. We know he's not doing anything. Because he's got to explain himself for that. That is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Adopting a team? My ass, Charles. Dylan Terrabin in the house. Woody going to step in after another London no-show? Can we leave them in London if they don't show up? That should be their punishment for the rest of the year. With respect to the great people in London. You know, they make the Jets be away from their families for the whole rest of the year. God. Rooster says every player on defense is having the worst year ever. Is that possible? No, something is wrong with this game. I agree. I think that's why I think it's coaching. I don't think Jamie and Sherwood and Michael Carter just forgot how to play football. Or Sauce all of a sudden forgot how to be Sauce Carter. Like, there's too many things that I can point to that don't. Will McDonald's done nothing since week 1. I think the scheme, the messaging, I don't think any of the defensive players have bought in. Jose, I don't think Glenn's been great, but it's not all his fault. Aside from Wilson's star players not making plays, try making a U-turn with an 18-wheeler. Yeah, but why aren't the star players making plays? I think that's coaching. Why is it that this team folds at the first sign of any adversity? Might be coaching now. That's the question. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live right now, hit the like button. I promise we're going to get into your calls. A lot of people want in on the conversation here. We're already 2 hours in, but guess what? I'm not stopping. Show will continue. And your calls are coming up. But first, let's take a listen to the head coach of the Jets who spoke this morning, and I'm sure has lots of plans to get this team back on track.
When it comes to injuries, Kiko has a sprained foot, but he'll be just fine. Obviously, we're leaving today to head to London. So 2 guys that will actually be traveling, that'll be evaluated during the week, is Kottie and JJ. Michael Carter would not travel today, right? He's still in concussion protocol. So we'll see how that goes, see if he will travel on another day to be with us, to be able to play in the game. So those are the injuries that came up. When it comes to the game, really nothing changed from my thought process from yesterday. I mean, obviously disappointed in the loss. Obviously disappointed in the fumble and the penalties that we've had. Again, the same thing happened the week before. And there's no magic wand that changes those things. The only thing that changes those things is what we emphasize, which we've always been emphasizing, and going back to work, right? That's the only thing that changes those things. And you do that in practice. So I know that is something that everyone's talking about, but that is something that we are emphasizing. That's something the players understand. And listen, no one's feel worse than that fumble than Brees does, all right? And I have all the trust in the world in that player. That player was having a hell of a game. Obviously, the game had to turn into something different because of the score. And we had Justin throw 46 times, which is something that we really don't want to do because we want to make sure that we're running it just as well as we're passing it. And that's how we play football. That's our brand of football. And I do know this. There were a lot of good things that I'm proud of that happened in that game. We just got to fix those things that cause you to lose games. And if you look across the league, I would say about 85% of the games that were lost, teams that are lost the same fashion that we did. Turnovers and penalties. So we got to continue to look at it and try to clean those up. Any questions?
AJ, you just sort of touched on it. Your brand of football, the way you want to play, what you guys have talked about since the spring.
Yep.
Run the ball, playing good defense. Do you need to start faster in these games? In other words, do you need to be playing with a lead rather than falling behind in order to play the brand of football that you want to play? Yeah,
you know what? I think just in general, in all 3 phases, we talk about being able to start fast. Obviously, our offense did a really good job of driving down the field, and we ended up getting a field goal. We should have got 7 on that, but we got a field goal, so we got points. Defensively, that's what we got to make sure we end up stopping teams from scoring in that situation, because I think the last couple of games we have given up a touchdown or field goal in that instance. So that's something that again, is an emphasis of ours. But you're absolutely right. Right, starting fast is something that we want to do, and I think most teams want to do that anyway. But for us to play the way that we want to play, it's important for us to be able to do that.
Dallas had 3 walk-in touchdowns. Usually that means there was a lack of hustle or maybe a missed assignment on the play. What was your take on those 3?
Missed assignments on that. All right, and we have to get better at that. And that comes from sometimes players want to do a little too much, and their eyes can be in the wrong spot. And guys, just do your job, and we'll be just fine. And you see that on a number of games across the league, especially when you get down in that area. All right, so we got to do a better job of just doing our job and focusing on that and not trying to do too much, because that's what happens, right, when teams are moving the ball. Guys get a little nosy, or guys want to do too much, and not just focus on what they have to do.
On the Pickens, I just want a quick follow on that.
Say it again.
His touchdowns, Sauce said it was busted coverage, so which leads me to my question: with these missed assignments, do you think maybe Wilkes should simplify the defense a little bit just to get the players playing faster?
Well, you're just talking about like those plays. I mean, it's like 62 plays or 70-some plays within a game. So I'm not going to sit there and say that it was total issue because of 4 plays.
Those are the biggest plays of the game. What do you mean? I'm sorry. I have to stop it right there. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play, Aaron Glenn? That's what you're saying. Come on, man. If he wants to go down defending Steve Wilkes, he could go too at the end of the year if this continues, because that's where this is headed. This is a historically inept defense so far. Don't say, oh, Jake, you're exaggerating. That's hyperbole. No, it's not. Here's the stat. You lose. I win. Done. They're on pace to give up a franchise record in points, too, by the way. Come on, man. Is Aaron Glenn serious with that answer? No, we had like 76 plays. You're only talking about those 4 plays. Yeah, because those are the plays they scored a touchdown on, man. That's how this works. All right, look, Mrs. Lincoln, I know obviously that thing happened to your husband, but other than that, the play was probably awesome, right? Good God, man.
So I'm not going to go that route. You know, we talking about the other plays where everybody was in line, and we just got to win on one-on-ones. Right? We got to win those one-on-ones in that situation. And I understand exactly what Sauce was talking about. And collectively, me, myself, right, we all have to make sure we're on the same page when it comes to that.
Harry, we talked yesterday about, you want to prevent them from feeling, okay, here we go again.
Yep.
How do you address that with them? Because, again, I know it's a new year and a new staff, but a lot of these guys have been here and experienced this type of stuff, turnovers, penalties, all that.
Well, listen, for the last 2 years, I think I think we led the league in penalties. And I've said that at the beginning, like, you just don't hit a wand and that changes, man. The work has to be able to fix those things. And that's what practice is for. The same thing when it comes to turnovers and also taking the ball away. We have to work to get those things done. And nothing overcomes that. Nothing overcomes the work. And the thing is, I know for a fact our players are bought into what we're doing. So that's why I know it's not a here we go again. Because every day we emphasize it, every day we talk about it, and we attack those things every day. And the players attack them too. So I have I am not worried about that part of the here we go again. If you guys heard the players talk, and you guys see what their mindset is, and they feel the same way that we do as coaches, there's no such thing as that for us right now. We just got to continue to play, to continue to work. We got to work.
When you say you're working on it and then it doesn't improve, that's a poor sign that your message is not getting across to the players. Once again, the only thing that Aaron Glenn can point to that's a positive is that he still has 13 games left in the season. Or I'm bad at math, right? 17 minus 5. Sorry, 12 games left in the season. Like, that's really it, folks. Honestly, I don't want to bury the guy. We're in year one of this. But you can't talk the talk like he did and then act how he's acting now, where it's like, oh, it's going to take some time, fellas. Yesterday, big ships take a while. It's like, that's none of what you were saying. This team has never been this bad. Gase in 2020, they were awful. They had no talent, though. And he never should have been hired in the first place. Once again, the only positive I could say for Glenn is that he has more games left this year to try and turn it around. But he's doing a terrible job so far. Can we acknowledge that? This team's 0-5. They're setting records of ineptitude. They were non-competitive as a favorite yesterday against a Cowboys team that had the worst defense in football, and they had 6 points going into the fourth quarter. They missed 13 tackles in the first half, allowed 2 touchdowns in 2 minutes and 18 seconds to take a 10-3 game and turn it into 23-3 at halftime. But he's going to try and tell us that the players have bought in because they know how to give a quote after the game. Their actions tell me, Aaron, they haven't bought in. You got to fix it. Do something.
Hey, G, there was a moment in the first half where I think Justin Fields' pass hit the camera, like the sky cam or whatever. I believe there's a rule that they're supposed to run the play again or something like that. Do you know why that didn't happen?
I have no idea. There are a number of things that I question, but that's just the way it goes. And listen, every coach is going to question certain calls that happen in the game. And we try to get clarity on it, as the week goes by asking those questions and trying to send those in. So we'll see how that goes.
Now, are you considering any personnel changes on defense?
You know what? And I say this every week, is you earn your keep. You earn your keep. So I think we're always looking at that. Like, who gives us the best chance to win? That does not mean that we're just having wholesale changes week in and week out. But I do expect us to the players to earn their keep during the week.
You touched on this a little bit last night, but with the pass rush, basically getting only 1 sack, that was
sorry, that's the Jet pass rush.
Now that
They
you
stink.
had a chance to look at it more closely, and you did blitz a lot, which you usually do. Why wasn't it getting home?
Well, I don't think we blitzed a ton. The thing is, listen, the slide is going to Quinnen dang near every time. And our other guys has to win their one-on-ones. That is something that I talked to a number of guys about last night, and they understand that. And in this day and age, you see a lot of 12 personnel, and they're blocking, they're keeping everybody in. And that's one of the reasons why we had issues, is they're keeping when you got a 4-man rush, they're keeping everybody in, and they're blocking this thing up, and they have these 2-man routes. So we got to do a better job of making sure we understand how to make sure we cover those 2-man routes for the most part.
Aaron, why did you decide to go to London early in the week? Some teams go later in the week, and I believe you went with New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever done this trip other than that one?
You know, I went as a player in New Orleans and a coach in New Orleans, and we always went early, and I always felt guys got acclimated, a lot quicker when you go early. That's something I just believe in, So it'll be a good trip for us. Again, we going there for one reason: let's go win a game. And I look forward to the work that we're going to have this week.
Aaron, you talked about how you spoke to Tony Dungy and Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
That's you reaching out to them just for advice, or what precipitated that?
Well, both of those guys reached out to me because, again, they've been here. And they understand the noise that's going to come from, all over the place, from the fans, from the media. And they're telling me, because they see every one of my press conferences, they see what the players are saying, and they're telling me, man, stay the course. You know exactly what's going on in that building. You know exactly what's going on that practice field. And I appreciate that, because they have, been a part of what I'm going through and what we're going through for the most part. And I believe exactly what they're saying. And that's something that we're going to do. We're going to stay the course. We're not going to waver. We're not going to let any of the outside noise start, to get us to, have issues between each other. Listen, coaches and players, we're on the same page. Trust me when I tell you that. And we're going to continue to work our ass off until we get this thing fixed.
Sometimes when a new regime comes in, it becomes very obvious to everyone that it's a total rebuild. When you got in, and I recall that at the scouting combine, you said exactly, we're here to win now. Do you think, having the benefit of some hindsight here, do you think maybe you underestimated the challenge that you were stepping into?
What coach is not here to win now? I'm asking.
Well,
every coach is here to win now. What you didn't say is what I said. I'm not thinking about the Super Bowl. I'm not thinking about playoffs. I'm thinking about building a foundation. And that's exactly what we're doing. So every coach in this NFL, that's what you're here for, is to win. So I'm not changing that at all. Yes,
we're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. So any questions?
Come on. Don't play that game, Aaron. That is very disingenuous what he's doing there, people. That is very disingenuous what he's doing there. Trying to move the goalpost now. The question was specifically about Quinnen Williams' tweet once they got rid of Rodgers. And Quinnen said, guess I'm doing another rebuild, and did the thumbs down emoji after they cut Rodgers too, those two tweets. That's what that was in response to, that full answer from the combine. Rich gave him a chance to basically walk it back and be like, maybe I didn't realize how difficult this was going to be, but I promise you, we don't expect this to take long to get this thing back on track. That should have been his answer there. Instead, now he's going to try and justify it. Let's listen to the rest of this bullshit.
Absolutely here. Have we done it yet? No, we haven't. I understand that. We're 0-5 and we own that. But I do know this. That's not going to stop us from doing everything we can to win. So absolutely, we are here to win now, like every other coach is.
Okay.
Aaron, if I could ask about one coaching decision from yesterday.
Yep.
4th and 5 at the Cowboys 43. I think it might have been your second series. You had to go up there 43, 4th and 5. You decided to punt. Just what went into the decision to punt there? I
wanted to play field position football at that point. I wanted to back them up, put our defense on the field and see if we can stop them, see if we can create field position. That was the only reason why.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Off to London, the Jets go. Man, so disappointing. Look, once again, the best thing that Aaron Glenn has going for him is that there's 12 games left. That's it. All right, I'm going to do some calls here. Appreciate everyone. We'll have Beningo with us later. We're going to give away a signed Joe Klecko football for those of you just tuning in late. There's over 700 people still watching live right now. Hit the thumbs up button. That's the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We've been light on membership, so if you want to win today, great day to do it. Tom Huzima became a channel member. He's in the raffle for the Klecko football at the end of the stream for one. Couple super chats, and then let's get back to your calls immediately. PBM says, I was joking about the Broncos. They play the Jets this week. The tank is on. That's what I'm rooting for. Context, people. I'm rooting for draft pick number 1. Well, Charles Gorman is Captain Literal, man, and he's now apparently a Colts fan. And PBM, you're now a Broncos fan. Here's your new emoji, which we'll update after the show. Just kidding. All right, calls. Here we go. Rapid fire. Tommy, start us off. You're first.
Jake, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you.
All right. God bless you, brother. It's tough to be a Jet fan. I probably have like 20 things I want to say, but we are in depth. Like this is what I wanted to call in, like PBM with the fucking garbage bag over my head, bro. This is where the Jets are at, okay? You fucking are abysmal, and you're fucking making me call off of work every Monday. It's embarrassing. Like, when the fuck? And let me tell you something, Jake. Aaron Glenn says he doesn't have, these aren't his guys. You got to be out of your fucking mind. You signed Andre Cisco. You signed fucking cornerback Brandon Stevens. These are your guys. If they weren't your guys, they would have been fucking canceled way before training camp started, brother. They would have been, if they're not your guys, get rid of them. What the fuck are you doing? I'm embarrassed. It's an embarrassing fucking time. And the only bright thing is, Jake, I did get some Jake Asman merchandise. So we'll get the bucket hat, we'll get the flag, but fuck the Jets, bro. The Jets are abysmal. They
On
can't.
behalf of the Jake Asman Show, we apologize for the foul language.
Tommy, thank you for the call. That was a pretty good one to start things off with, huh? More calls right now. Cash Money Mike is next. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Jake, how you doing? Hey, a couple of points here, not to pull off with Neil, but I got a couple of points here. I know I put on the super chat, but a couple of things. No, Glenn didn't bring anybody in with him from the Lions, right? I think that was a key mess up right there alone, to show his message. And I know you answered that super chat, so I appreciate that. The other thing I wanted to bring in is that Cisco, Adams, Clemens, Stevens, and Oliver, they will not make any other team in the NFL, not even the Carolina Panthers. So once these guys are gone, you'll never see these guys in the NFL again. What the hell are they doing on our team, right? That's point number 2. Point number 3, I agree with Frankie and yourself. We should have went with a veteran head coach. And I'm with you. We should have went with Flores. He is a Brooklyn guy, even though he does come from the Patriots coaching tree.
That's where he started. But you know what? He went to Miami. He won in 2 of his 3 years with bad talent. He had a winning record. And he then went with Tomlin for a year, learned from him. He's been around the most innovative offensive coach in the league, arguably, and Kevin O'Connell the last couple of years. Like the guy I think deserved another opportunity. And he wasn't even my number 1. They didn't interview my number 1 candidates. They didn't talk to McCarthy. They didn't talk to Carroll. They didn't talk to Gruden. Flores was the most experienced coach they spoke to that I thought actually would have made some sense. So he was my guy. He was never anti-Glenn. It was, I didn't want a first-time head coach.
Yeah, and you're 100% right. This team, this city is not equipped to have a first-time head coach. We went through it 5, 6 different times, and it's the same goddamn story. There's no changes. Everything has been the same day in, day out with every new coach that we got from a defensive background. Obviously, with Adam Gase, we knew he was terrible. It was the point that Peyton Manning got involved, and that's the reason why Gase got our job. And he should have never gotten the job from the get-go. Anyway, one last point I want to give you, going back to the, first round, quarterbacks. I don't think the Jets should take even if they get the first pick or the second pick or the third pick, I don't think the Jets should take it because it's still a dime a dozen. It's still a hit or miss when it comes to it. And you're 100% right, but there's 2 quarterbacks you missed that didn't go in the first round either, right? Dak Prescott, he was a third rounder. Jalen Hurts, he was a second rounder, right? So you can't go wrong. These guys, there's quarterbacks out there past the first round. We just have to have a damn coaching staff that can get the quarterback to play in the NFL. And unfortunately, we have never had that in the last 30 years, so to speak, or I should say 25 years since Pennington. And then I want to make one last point, right? And I'm going to go back to what Parcells always says, right? You are what your record says you are. And since we're 0-5, we fucking suck!
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
Tell us how you really feel, Mike. More calls. Rapid fire continues. Folks, the last time we heard from this man, he was very upset that the Jets had yet to force a turnover. Ladies and gentlemen, the champ.
We literally can't even fall on a fumble. I mean, my wife accidentally falls on my dick one time a week, and we can't fall on a fumble?
Holy shit already. Will you stop it with the bad language?
I mean, it's ridiculous. Oh, Jake, man. This is as close to rock bottom as we can get. I just wanted to say one thing about disagreeing with Cash Money Mike. He said that the players on this team wouldn't play in the NFL anywhere else. That is completely false. If you look this team, if you were to take just look at like Hassan Reddick as an example. He didn't fit well in our scheme last year. Now he's over at Tampa making plays, looking real good like he did with the Eagles. Look at Bryce Huff, who can't even scratch the surface of getting in the game on the Eagles. He's inactive. Now he's on San Francisco back with Salah, making plays, playing good against the run. You're telling me that this isn't a scheme-related issue? Isaiah Oliver and Michael Carter and Sauce and Sherwood and even Quincy before he got hurt, these aren't players that excelled in a different scheme. They would be on a different team. It's just that right now our defensive plan is that we're not adjusting our scheme to the talent. We're trying to teach our scheme to the players, and it's not working at all. You combine that with the way Wilkes is calling the game. He's missing every time he calls big plays. I mean, the fact that we're getting beat by bubble screens to the tight end over and over. How else does Ferguson get the ball? If you even, I'm not even an analyst. If you watch the Cowboys games, you knew they scored 2 touchdowns. I just look. The fact that Glenn is in these press conferences, if you remember my calls all summer and leading up to everything, all I was saying was, man, Glenn's balls are huge. This guy is coming out roaring. He is putting the pressure on him. He was acting so tough and like his shit didn't stink. And he is backpedaled so fast. It's incredible. Now it's just like now instant coffee. Now it's like we're in rebuilding mode, and he's fine with that. I'm glad that who asked him that question in the interview about to me about win now, right? Thank God. So the media has been going so easy on him. I've been shocked with how like no one's really pressing him enough. They're still
because here's why, right? They need to still work with him for at least the rest of the year until it's obvious he's done and he has no chance. They're not going to call for his job. They need to have a working relationship with him to be able to do their jobs. So they're not going to be brash. The people who would be brash are the people who aren't there every day, who don't need Aaron Glenn to do their job, to cooperate with them. So, and Rich also has a personal relationship with Glenn. He likes Glenn. He liked the hire. He said last night, I don't know what to tell you why I think it's going to work, but I still think he can be a good coach. To me, he's not the enemy of the Jet fan. Like he's very pro Glenn, but he did his job there. He asked that question, and Glenn could have answered it way better, and he chose to answer it that way, and I think it makes him look bad.
Agreed. I just, even when you look at the offense, which has been surprisingly better in garbage time than we anticipated, but in every game that Justin Fields, besides the first week, we haven't scored in the first half. I don't even think we scored. Did we score in the first half? No, we didn't score in the. Did we score?
Not touchdowns. Not touchdowns.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just Glenn when Glenn came over and coached the defense with the Lions in 2021, 2022, they were the last defense in the league, and like I don't know, top 5 worst in the league in 2022. Then they definitely got better in 23 and 24, but it was turnover related. The Lions always got turnovers. They were aggressive and they always got turnovers, and they had a high-powered offense to go with it. So I don't understand why we're not trying to change anything. We're running the course, and that's surprising to me on defense because these are defensive coaches. Everyone, including myself, the biggest worry coming into the season was the offense and Justin Fields. We all signed off like there's enough talent on the defense to keep us going, and keep us in games, and
to have a chance to be competitive, not to be like people like, oh, what'd you expect? Did you think they were going to get blown out in these games? Because that's what's happened here. They were great from a competitive standpoint in week 1. They were in it the entire way. Should have won that game. Week 2, didn't show up. Week 3, 23-6 at halftime. Week 4 was a joke, an embarrassment of all embarrassments. They were only down 7 at halftime, but let's be real. They got completely outclassed by a team that sucks. It's a joke how they played a week ago. And yesterday was a disgrace, man. 10-3, Brees fumbles, and they completely wilt. They're down 23-3 at halftime. Are you shitting me? I don't care if those of you out there are like, oh, what'd you expect, Jake? You didn't think they were going to be that good this year. Right. That's why the bar being as low as it was, and they still can't even come close to what that bar was, is a pathetic embarrassment, disgrace for a franchise that only seems to know how to make it worse and never get better.
I would love for you to somehow not tell us live or tell us anything, but just to ask Tenenbaum when you're hanging out with him Sunday morning, if he thinks that Woody put any pressure or the coach hiring had anything to do with Rodgers. Because I know there's a lot of people, Gator, Neil, Peter, a lot of people. I don't know where your stand is. I do not think that Woody said to Glenn, you are not allowed to bring back Aaron Rodgers. I think that Glenn made that decision.
I think he did too. But I think he knew Woody obviously was leaning towards. I don't think any first-time coach necessarily was going to want Rodgers for some of the things Glenn outlined. Like he wants to establish his program. Didn't want the Hall of Fame quarterback being the focus, the center of the universe for the Jets. Like I understand that decision. My problem is I don't think they interviewed the best candidates, because if they hired Mike McCarthy, he would have said, I want Rodgers for another year. Like Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches in the league. It's not a coincidence he wanted Aaron Rodgers. His team's 3-1 right now because he knew he's competent. I'll coach the rest of the roster up. We'll have a good defense, a running game. Aaron, take care of the ball. We're going to win that way. Like, honestly, Mike Tomlin's the Jet coach. They're at least 3-2, 2-3 at worst. Like, they're not winless. I promise you that. Mike Vrabel, look what he's doing. That's a real coach. Liam Cohen's in his first year. Ben Johnson's in his first year. All these teams with first-year coaches with their respective teams are all further along than the Jets. The Jaguars, the Patriots, and the Bears were all worse than the Jets last year. The Jets are the only team in the league without a win.
I can't watch our defense anymore. They all look confused. There's too many mental errors going on in big spots of the game. And I just want to see, I know it sounds cliche, but I want to see a little more of what Saleh used to do in those big moments where like you're daring them to just throw it underneath and not have the big play. We're getting beat because we're in man coverage all the time on little things. I don't know. We're stopping the run better on like first and second down when we know they're running. But look at the tackling. Javonte Williams looked like a tier 1 running back yesterday, just breaking through easy tackles. We're rock bottom 5 weeks in, and I know Charles is now a Colts fan. PBM is a Broncos fan. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna be a Steelers fan this year.
I'm already a Steelers fan. I mean, if the Jets can't win this year, I want Rodgers to do well. I have no ill will towards him.
I've loved Rodgers.
I don't consider a fan though. Like if they're playing, like I hope he plays well. He stays healthy. He has a good year. But like I don't feel anything. Like a fan is like you have an emotional attachment. Like it means something. Like nothing any other team does will make me feel anything. Like it's just the Jets. That's it.
I'm so close to like checking out. I feel like I got a lot of shit going on in my personal life. You know, I got a family of 3, and I put so much time, love, and effort into the Jets, and they're making me so miserable. Like I can't, like, when I'm all in, like, I can cope with being miserable when we have life and we have hope. Right now at 0-5, it's just like you already know there's like no hope of playoffs or any type of fun mathematical chance, hope in October or in November. Like, there's nothing right now besides 0-5, and we look like the laughing stock of the league. We're the team that you play against on your schedule. Like, well, there's our get right game, just like Miami. And
how's the wife doing though? Have you been able to fall on a fumble?
You know, she's I've been having a lot of extra requests for special time, and because the Jets have just been hurting me so bad. But it's hard with 3 kids. I don't even get that much special time. We got no time to be special. It's ridiculous. But I love you, and I love all of us that come here and try to get together and cope together. But this is really bad, man. This really it hurts too much. I'm not even all your anger yesterday, which makes me smile. I know you're getting mad, but it makes me smile when you get really mad, because like the passion is just like bleeding out your pores. And it's just like I can relate so easily, but I'm not even getting mad. I was watching that game yesterday, and like I was screaming in the first quarter at the TV, and then it just like hit me. It just sunk in. It's just like, we're a shit team. We are not who we thought we were. Aaron Glenn is all talk. He has no accountability right now. He's literally had these big balls coming into the season, and now he's just backpedaling. I'm sorry, Jake. I love you, brother.
Hang in there, Bonesy. I'll see you at the Panthers game. Can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, the champ.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but
best practice team in the league. Tommy gifted a membership. Thank you, Tommy. Last chance to get in the raffle. We're doing a few calls, and then we're done here. This is going to be a 3-hour show. And I'm doing bingo at 4:30 today. Cash Money Mike says, sorry for my rant. I'm sick and tired of this team I love so much. I mean, look, the Jets are lucky we're still angry, because a couple more weeks of this, we're going to reach the apathy stage where it's just like you just accept the losing. Like, a couple more weeks of this, and I won't be screaming and yelling at the post game. It's just going to be, where are we at in the draft right now? Is Glenn going to survive this? That's a real conversation. People don't want to admit it. It is. Woody's not keeping him if they win 2 games. I don't see it. I could be dead wrong. I'd be surprised. Oh, but Jakey doesn't want to pay Glenn all this money. That, like, okay. Last I checked, spending money on your coaching staff and GM doesn't count on your cap. It doesn't. If Woody wanted more money, he could sell like a percentage of the team and get an influx of cash immediately, like you've seen other teams around the league do. Or the Giants are selling a piece of their team. Eli Manning was priced out. He tried to put a group together. That's a news story from a couple months ago. Tom D says, this team sucks. I hate being a Jet fan. You know, it's sad because, like, I love the fan base. You know, I love the community. I love how we all rally around each other. It's just, I was so depressed last night. I went back and I watched Rex Ryan's postgame after they beat the Patriots in the playoffs, just to make me feel a little better. Same old Jets, right back in the AFC Championship game. God. Now we got our head coach saying they're not the same old Jets until they lose to the Bucs to fall to 0-3. And then follow that up with losing to Miami, who suck. And then the Cowboys yesterday, without their entire O-line and 2 of their best 3 receivers. And the Jets get killed. Wesak says the 08 Lions through 5 games had 5 turnovers. 25 Jets have allowed more points through 5 games too. They're not going to go winless. But this is bad, man. They're going to win 2 of their last 3. You know it. I know it. Glenn will try and sell us on ending the year strong and all this BS that means nothing. Then we'll scream and yell at each other for 5 months on which quarterback they're going to take. That quarterback will probably suck. He'll leave after 2 years, go somewhere else. And then years down the line, he'll resurface like Sam Darnold and play great. Here's your future, Jet fans. Whoa, yeah.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
I'm so tired of it. Damien with a super chat. He's in the raffle for 2. I know this is tough to hear, but we've been chasing the ghost of 2022 for too long. Glenn's a major issue, but this team just feels stuck. If I'm a GM, everyone but Garrett's gone by the deadline. Well, you can't trade the whole team, Damian. That's not how it works. Your sentiment, I understand. There will be a lot of roster changes. But my issue is Glenn took over this team and he brought back some of these guys. It was his choice. Scary. More calls before we wrap. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people still left. They're all great. So here we go. First up, this guy.
What's up, Jake?
At least you got the Beast Breaker shirt on, Kyle. That brought a smile to my face.
There you go. I want to talk for 2 seconds about Sanchez and then answer 2 questions from earlier in the show. What is Mark Sanchez doing fighting over a parking spot on a weekend night when he's in town on business with a 69-year-old man if he's out drinking? It's like exceedingly poor judgment, right? Like for someone who's into their career or someone who, is trying to protect their family, not something you would really do. I don't think his father would be very proud by those actions. I don't think his wife is going to be too thrilled with him. I mean, basically, he's doing a very poor job of protecting his livelihood, which is now.
And he's got a kid and a wife. He threw his whole life away over this. He's facing prison time. I mean, I unfortunately saw the pictures of the guy that got into the incident with Sanchez, the assault, whatever, however you want to describe it. Man, those are brutal photos, man. Like it is scary that Mark was involved in that. He put himself in that spot. Like
and worse because it's a 69-year-old working guy.
Yeah.
Right? It's really, really a bad look, and I think that as Jets fans, we kind of expect a little bit more from Mark. So
I think we all did because no one has a bad thing to say about Mark. His teammates, he got hired by ESPN and Fox in his broadcasting career. Everyone, when we didn't know the details, and the original story from TMZ was he's in critical condition. I mean, we all thought the worst. Like, holy shit! Like Mark Sanchez got stabbed and he's in critical. And then it was he's in stable condition. There was no information. Then a couple more hours go by. Then you find out he's the one being arrested. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and so many times you can kind of tell when the other shoe is about to drop, and I think that was really the case here, where there was going to be more that came out about it. If he's got a problem with the bottle, I hope that he can get it addressed, because this is no way to be when you're pushing 39 years old or whatever. So as far as the 2 questions from earlier in the show. If you end up having sex with Margot Robbie tonight, you ask her if she wants to go again. And if she doesn't want to go again, you just roll over and go to sleep. So that solves that problem. As far as Jake West's question, if we win the next 2 games and we're 2-5, we want to see what the team looks like for the rest of the year. We want to see if the defense improves. We want to see if we can better last year's win total. We want to see if the team quits on Glenn. We want to see, if there's any of these players that haven't gotten an opportunity thus far to make us 0-5 that get an opportunity that we feel can contribute in a future state. That's what happens, right? Like, but I can tell you that if we end up winning less games with this talent than last year, with some of the promises that were made by Glenn, he's going to have a tough time sticking here. I think the fans are at they're on their last nerve, and the owner, while I think he's been pretty fair in giving some of these coaches chances. This is not what was expected. We wanted a coach that was going to get us competitive in these games, and we're seeing the exact opposite. We're seeing a guy from a defensive background, and we have a defense that can't stop a nosebleed, and we've done nothing to improve the situation with the penalties. So, at this point it becomes, let's see what we have from Fields, and let's see if we can, somehow give a glimmer of hope that Glenn can be a guy that his voice is not lost in this locker room. I appreciate your time, Jake.
Kyle, excellent call, ladies and gentlemen. The Kyle Clifton. Man. This is Lowe's. If Harbaugh somehow shakes free, you'd have to consider a change. Yeah, I fire Glenn immediately and hire Harbaugh. Done. Do not care. Do not. I really don't. All right. Yeah, 100%. I mean, and by the way, people are like, oh, the Ravens aren't going to do that. One of my best friends in the business covers the Ravens. There's a lot of talk of that. Might finally be time. Andy Reid got fired in Philadelphia. Maybe they need a new voice. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about this yet because there's so many steps to even get to this point. I'm hoping Aaron Glenn, who still has 12 games to go, could get this team to play better. They don't quit. They're competitive. They're in games. The offense looks better in the first half. Defense learns how to tackle. I hope we leave the year feeling better about Glenn, because if we leave the year feeling god awful about him and they're going to be now entrusted with taking a pick, that's scary. All right. Some legends on the line to close us out today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're on hold, I promise we're going to get to you. This guy is next.
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's Neil.
What's up, Jake?
Hello, Neil.
Well, I will say this to you. As far as Mike's call and Bonesy, to win football games, you have to win in the trenches. And our defensive trench is the worst defensive trench we've had. Probably, I can't remember a worse defensive line than we're right now. I can't remember one, Jake. Jake, there's not a rosterable player on that defensive line right now for any other team. And by the way, who's this guy Phillips? We talked a big shit about him. Okay? Here's what everybody doesn't get. Here's the starkness of how bad our defensive line is. We faced 2 games in a row with 3 backups on the other team's offensive line, and we did not get a single sack. And I think we had, 5 pressures? Nothing, Jake. I mean, how stark is that?
That's terrible.
That's like playing against the teams. It's like going to preseason and playing against the 3rd and 4th stringers with your starting defensive line and not getting any pressure on the quarterback or even looking good. That's what we're faced with right now. I mean, that is stark, really bad. And I look, when I saw 22 and I saw 72 come on the field to start the game, the air came out of me. I was like, oh no, this is not going to change. This is going to be another bad game. Forget about waiting until the fumble and every other goddamn thing. I just saw it right out of the gate. They're not making changes that are necessary. If you have a bunch of crap on the field now, what's the difference if you substitute other crap and hopes that maybe you'll find a crap with a pearl in it? Does that make sense, or am I making no sense?
I don't know, Neil. I have no answers on why the defense is this bad. It's unbelievable, because at least in 2020, when they were the worst defense in the league, or in Saleh's first year, they didn't have talent. This team has talent. They're not as talented as they were.
The only talent on the defense is Quinnen. I guess you could say Sauce has talent, but he's overrated.
Sauce, Quincy, Will McDonald.
Will McDonald is a 3rd down pass rusher for any other team. He's not a starting star.
Yeah, those guys get $20 million a year if they're good. The Jets are never in positions where they can rush the quarterback. They're down double-digit points every week.
Okay, all right, that's a point. But the line is dog shit. And the reason
The linebackers stink. The safeties are bad. Everyone's playing poor. They don't they missed 13 tackles in the first half yesterday.
I get it, but Jake, understand something with the secondary. You know, when you have a quarterback that sits back there, Dak Prescott could take a chair and have a coffee and crumpet while he's waiting for receivers to get open. There's no pressure on.
I know. Because I think the scheme is predictable, right? Dak knows where their blitzes are coming from, just like Baker did. They sit in the pocket all day, and they
I get it, and there's no change. I mean, look.
They don't try and do anything different.
Right?
They don't disguise things. It's they're the most predictable defense every week. Wilkes never does anything that we haven't seen before, and these quarterbacks pick up on it immediately.
Listen, stand them all up at the line of scrimmage. Stand them all up. The whole look, I'm not a defensive coordinator, but I look at Spagnuolo. I appreciate talented defensive coordinators. I love it. Okay. When Spagnuolo doesn't get pressure on you with 4, he goes to 5. When he doesn't get pressure on you with 5, he sends 8. If he doesn't get pressure on you with 8, he goes all out blitz and has nobody behind him. You got to keep going until you get somebody that can get pressure on the quarterback. Because if you keep doing it over and over again, you're just getting the same result. You're getting a guy that's going to just tear you to pieces, because any quarterback that has time in the pocket is going to roast you because they have time to throw the ball. I mean, it's it. I mean,
who gets roasted more, the Jet defense or one of your cigars?
Who gets roasted more? Look, I feel like getting roasted. I think I have to take serious drugs to really continue to watch on a Sunday. I swear to God, it's just like.
Are you ready to get up for 9:30 in the morning football this week, Neil?
What's that? Oh, yeah, I'll be up early. I think I got to get some ayahuasca. Something has got to come in me that I could laugh at this team, because I got to tell you something. It's bad. It's really hard. You heard me last night. I was pissed. I get as pissed off as you do, Jake. I'm probably get even more angry as I'm watching the game. It just ruins me. It ruins my mental state for it just infuriates me. And this is so bad because it's not fixable. It's on every single level of the team. It's play calling. Play calling? Oh, let's have Justin Fields, a running quarterback, sit in the pocket like he's Johnny Unitas. While all the other teams, I watched the Patriot game yesterday. Drake May, when he gets in trouble, he runs out of the pocket and gets 25, 30 yards. And he doesn't have the running talent of Justin Fields, but he looks like he does. And that you could say that for a lot of quarterbacks. I think they're trying to protect the guy from not getting him hit like we did with Zach. He looks like he's not trying to run anymore. And you got to break the pocket. If you don't see anybody open in 3 seconds, take the hell off. Didn't happen. No creativity with the play calling. It's the same bullshit every single.
Well, they have moments where they look great, and then the drive stalls, right? The Solomon Thomas, tackle for a loss kills that one because they missed an assignment on who was supposed to block them, either the right guard or Membu, or someone clearly missed an assignment there. That kills one drive. You settle for a field goal. They're down 10-3. They're in the red zone. Brees running the hell out of the ball, fumbles. All of a sudden, Cowboys start inside the 15-yard line, go right down the field, score. Jets offense, hey, can you pick them up? Nope. 3 and out, right back to Dallas. 2 plays later, boom, they score. A 10-3 game that the Jets are driving to tie it up at 10 turns into 23-6. So, we can nitpick the offense, and I agree with a lot of your assessments. They're mentally weak. And I think it starts with the coach who hasn't been able to get through to these guys because they just fold. And it starts with the defensive coordinator because they quit on him, which means they're quitting on the head coach who employed him.
And now I watched the game last night. Okay, I watched Drake May. I watched Rabel. I'm looking at the Patriots, right? Aside from Gonzalez on defense, who's worlds better than our boy, but besides him, You name me 3 starters on the defense on the Patriots. You can't name them. Jones, maybe. These guys are like all no names, Jake. They have a bunch of no names, and their defense looks fantastic. Right or wrong?
I mean, they're well coached. Look at these other teams, Neil. It's coaching. The Jaguars are all of a sudden good. They sucked last year, worse than the Jets. Oh, the Bears all of a sudden look functional. Oh, coaching. Like, go up and down, man. It's like it's not complicated. Glenn can try and spin it however he wants to spin it. He's done a bad job to this point. The only saving grace for him is he's got 12 games to try and get this straightened out so you can feel a little better about him going into next year.
Our only hope, Jake, I swear to God, our only hope is like what Robert Kraft did. He had Mayo. Mayo was a Patriot guy, okay? Nobody's busting his balls for getting rid of Mayo after 1 year, right? And replacing him with Vrabel. So if Harbaugh or somebody competent or has an established track record becomes available, you got to make that change. You know, going with rookie coaches is the same thing as having rookie quarterbacks. You never know what you're going to get. I mean, it's so much of a crapshoot, and we continue to shoot the long shot every single time there's a coaching vacancy. It's just like a stupid after stupid after stupid. That's it. I got nothing else. Love you, Jake. Love the show. Love everybody in the chat. Everybody, I heard Alan this morning on Paul Green's show. I want to tell you, man, he's brilliant.
These goddamn exploding cigars. I gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
Unreal. Big fella. Beast dropped a bomb on Charles on his Insta story. Beast farted on Charles? That's how I interpret that one. What do you think that smells like? Oh. All right. Home stretch here. Sean the Mailman. Then Asman. And then America's favorite boxer will close this out. Hello, Sean. Sean, call back. Your internet is horrible. As bad as the Jets defense. Maybe worse. Sean, I'm going to put the link in the chat, in the private chat. So click that, copy and paste it before you go, then reset, and I'll get you back on if you can do it in time. Asman is next. What's up, Asman?
What's up, brother Jake? Jake, my brother. Jake, my brother. To quote King Slowski. How you been, man? Long time.
Oh, man. I was doing as well as one can do after having to watch that Jet game followed by that Yankee debacle back-to-back.
Yeah, no, I saw the Yankees. I mean, they're having a tough time up there with Black Guerrero Jr., man, my Dominican guy. But I love my Yankees, man. So let's go. Game number 3. It's on.
Amen,
anyway,
man.
I was waiting for at least 10 more points. It seems like Neil today was short. He only was around the offense. Like, I was waiting more points. Like, I don't call much, but I'm always watching, man. What can I say? Number 1, I'm going to go with Aaron Glenn. Aaron, on your interview, I guess you went to Woody and you expressed your whole planning on how this great roster, right? Because through the whole league and, you know, naming ESPN, NFL.com, they just have a top 10 roster, right? What it was not functioning was the coaching. And you emphasized that many times without Will McDonald play when he rushed. You remember he said it was coaching only?
Yeah.
So you cannot tell me.
He took a lot of shots at the old regime. He did. Now he's trying to walk it back.
He did, exactly. And that's my point. Don't tell me 2 years ago we were so on and this and give it stats. When you came, you made a pitch. I'm your guy. I'm going to change things. I'm going to be accountable. But guess what, my guy? If you want to be accountable, I have a kid's book that I read to my kid every night. And there's a quote there that says, if you want things to change, you first have to change you. You first have to be accountable and say, I'm not doing a good job here. Do not give me no stats from 2 years ago. It's your team now. You were brought in here because you were going to change this. We're still in that quote from Robert Saleh. Everybody's speaking from the cookie jar. Like, everybody's just taking turns. You were supposed to end that. You were supposed to coach that out of all the players. That's why you were brought in. What I'm seeing right now is what they all do in the first year when things don't work out. This is not my team. Well, I'm trying. We're about to go into another 4 years rebuild. It seems like every second contract player who's about to be due for a second contract is gonna get got. I don't want to see. I don't want to go through another rebuild. Jakes, we're winners, man, in our life. Right now, like I'm here flexing in my new house, the garage, as you can see. You're a
Yeah.
winner. I just had my second baby right now. We're thriving. Hey, congratulations on another goal. I've been here always watching you covering one of the current you can say Hall of Famers on Stephen A. Stephen A. Right? Like you cover that guy. Like look where you came from. We're winners, and every time we come and we see this debacle from the Jets, man, it's like we're not connecting with the team. We can't connect with that. Like I see Neil, amazing guy, businessman. It's hard. It's hard to keep rooting for it, but I keep wearing my green. This morning I was just driving by a one just drive. I made you a video while you were talking to Will Parkinson and all that. I was like, this is where the worst franchise in American professional sports resides. He was very quiet. Maybe I saw a couple of drivers driving in. I mean, a couple of players driving in. Man, like, what are we gonna do? What is it like? We deserve more. We deserve more, my guy.
Yes, we
Like
do.
we
Yes, we
are
do.
winners. I see thriving people who are Jets fan. I'm a package delivery driver on my route. I'm in Bergen County now. I'm in Morris County now. Move out here to Necon, like 15, 20 minutes away from Florham Park. I saw my guy from Don Jose. I forgot his name. There's a Don Jose restaurant right here down the block. Shout out to him, Don Jose. I remember. Um, Talking about Don Jose, I met Charles Gorman. Man, to get Charles Gorman, a man of men, you know how he is straightened on his belief and what kind of man he is, right? To get him off the Jets, like it takes historical bad performances to get us out of there, man. Like I I don't know. I keep rooting for my Jets. Do not give me no BS. Do not be pointing out outside. It starts at home, Aaron Glenn. You got to make this happen. This is why you brought in. This is why we brought you in. This is why you came here. You wanted this. So you got to do something, man. On up. Your pride, our pride, players' pride. Everybody got to come together and we got to make this thing happen. Whether for the rest of the year, which is very tough. Mathematically, we're still there, but man, mentally, physically, emotionally, I don't even see that in the players, and it's unfortunate. A lot of guys are gonna get got.
I'm sorry to break your heart, Asman, but
No worries.
Gorman is now apparently a Colts fan.
Oh my God! Come on, Charles. I met you in Florham Park in Don Jose at the Don Jose restaurant, but
He's adopted the Colts apparently.
This is one more thing, and I don't blame Gorman. Like for example, I'm a guy who's very faithful, like throughout my whole life, right? And I follow ex Jets players, who were here with us, and I see him thriving. Even Malachi Corley got on the field and got a sweep for 7 yards yesterday with Cleveland. Like we couldn't get him and do that. I mean, I heard all the story about who he was, in his personality. But as a player, like he got in the game, he got a super. Like that's what he's there for.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but
this is what we do, Asman.
Yeah, we crash. Like I see, like you can name it: Darnold thriving, Bowles thriving,
Gorman.
Hello, everybody. The Jets ended up losing to the Cowboys 37-22. Despite underutilizing Brees Hall, he ended up having a great game and, of course, fumbling the football. Justin Fields, despite getting sacked 5 times, threw for nearly 300 yards. But as we all know, this team sucks. There's no such thing as moral victories. You know the whole 9 yards. But this is not why I'm making this video. I'm officially announcing that for the remainder of the season, I have chosen to adopt the Indianapolis Colts as my team this year.
the practices have been damn good. They are, but
We've lost Gorman, Asman. Sorry.
That's where we are, man. That's where we are. So, like, you see all ex players, Brandon Echoes is thriving, DJ, and I wish nothing but the best for them. But us, the ones who are behind, who supposed to be better, man. We're I'm gonna end up with a quote from Rich Eisen. The sum of the parts is not adding. It's not adding up, bro. And I don't know if it's spiritually, I don't know if it's mentally, physically, but man, you were Glenn, you were here to change this. So you better get going, bro, or your time is
Asman,
ticking too.
well said. Glenn was here to change it. Instead, he sounds like the previous guy.
Could always beat the narrative of same old Jets, but it's not.
But I know this: they're not the same old Jets.
Everyone wants things now. It's the instant coffee age, but at the same time, we're grinding.
Here's what I do know. I know this is an instant coffee league. I know from the media to the fans, everybody expects this. You know, when you just start, okay, we're going to the Super Bowl, but we've all played Legos before.
We'll watch the tape.
You watch the tape.
It really is depressing. Hey, Sean the Millman, are you there? You're next. Sean? You got mail, bitches. All right, one last call, then the raffle. Stop what you're doing and get ready for what could be. Do we do this now? Do we do it? We do. An extraordinary call.
There you go.
I was just going to let you go on mute for a while there.
A couple of things. I don't even think the Jets are going to make the Super Bowl this year. I think it's going to be, 56 years in a row now without even making the Super Bowl. It's kind of my inkling. I don't think we're going to turn this around at 0-5. Mike, Tommy, there's a couple other guys. I'm going to quote a very wise man here who I find very annoying, LeBron James. LeBron James said when they went down 3-0 to Denver a couple years ago, it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball. Guys, I know we're emotionally involved in this team, but you can't let it ruin your day. Like, there's more important things. There are bigger fish to fry. There are more important things to do in your life than Jet football.
I disagree.
Well, for you, it's different because it's your livelihood. Okay, for you, it's a little different.
Jets for life, Gary. How dare you? Our coach said we're here to win.
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it.
We are here to win. And like if it's when the Jets drafted Zach Wilson, I screamed at my TV for about 3 hours. I lost my voice. I had a phone interview the next day that didn't go well because I lost my voice screaming. It was a Friday. It didn't go well. I was yelling at my wife. She's like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, it's not. I get it. We're emotionally involved in this team. We've invested years of our lives rooting for this team. It's still just football. It's just a game. It doesn't really change your life ultimately, guys. So if you can look, the Longhorns are just as embarrassing as the Jets. Florida has 3 losses. Florida lost to LSU, South Florida, and Miami. They've beaten 2 teams, CW Post and Texas. I get it. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm a Mets fan. That made me really edgy for like 2 months. I was edgy all the time. Take a step back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the best example of that, but sometimes
how dare you?
You got to take a step back, guys. Really.
If Tommy wants to call out of work because of the Jets, he has every right to.
He says he has to call every Monday now. What I'm saying is if you can take a step back and you can kind of put this in perspective, do that.
There is no perspective. This is a disgrace.
It's not worth it. I agree with that, but both things can be true. It can be a disgrace. And
what's your actual point? I'm 3 hours in. I had no time to get all my stuff done today. So can we wrap this up?
All right. Just quick on Glenn. Could it be any worse than him? Honestly, is there any way he could do a worse job than what he's doing right now?
No, I mean, I want to be clear. It's 5 games, and I don't think he's going to end up being the worst coach we've ever had. However, through 5 games, he might be the worst coach I've seen. He's been record-wise, he's been worse than Gase. He's been worse than Kottie. He's been worse than Holtz. He's been worse than any coach you could point to because no one has actually ever started 0-5. So, like, to this point, no one's ever been worse, but it's 5 games.
It's the 11 more penalties, so that's 24 penalties in the last 2 weeks.
Well, they
Jake,
had 13 on Monday and
11 yesterday.
Yeah.
24. Jake, I don't even know how to respond to that. That's the least disciplined team in football. Like,
yeah, but they're not the same old Jets. So what he was trying to say is they're worse.
Exactly. That's just going to say they're worse. They're somehow worse. And I don't want him to be fired. I don't want to do a coaching rehire next year. But if this doesn't get better, how do you bring him back next year?
You have no choice. I mean, if we're talking about a 2-win team, I don't think you have a choice.
Jake, they're the worst team in football. And it's not just that the talent is bad. It's not the Brooklyn Nets where the talent is just horrendous. The talent's not that bad. It's the coaching.
And then people will say, "Oh, what did you expect?" We did not expect this team to be the worst team in football. So wake up, people. They haven't been competitive in these games. They were competitive in week 1. Since then, it's getting worse, not better, even though the schedule has softened up since then. Come on. Hey, Gary, did you see this stat? The Jets, since week 1, have not scored an offensive touchdown until they're down by 2 touchdowns.
And they're not a team that's going to play from behind. They're a running team. They need to stay close. They can't fall behind 10 points, 2 touchdowns. They can't fall behind 2 scores because now you got to play out of your comfort zone. You got to fight their fight, and that's not how you win.
Unfortunately, we're in our comfort zone, just being bad. This is what we do. These players are too used to it. And I thought Glenn was going to have the spine or the gumption or the leadership to get them to buy in. And my big fear is because they didn't see any success early, all these loser habits just reared their ugly head again. Like if they had that win against Rodgers week 1, I think they could have been able to kind of rally around that and they wouldn't be in a spot where they're 0-5.
We've been blown out in 3. I know the Miami game ended up only.
That was a blowout.
Yeah, we've been blown out in 3 of the 5. This doesn't happen in the NFL. The NFL games are usually fairly close. I mean, this is how bad we are. NFL. This is not.
They were a favorite yesterday. They were a favorite. People were acting like they lost to the Emmitt Smith Cowboys yesterday, even though they made Javonte Williams look like Emmitt Smith, and they made some guy off their practice squad I'd never heard of look like Michael Irving. But like, come on, man.
The last thing I wanted to touch on was
got me fired up again. Damn you, Gary! I was done yelling for the day.
I'm gonna go on to one last thing, and when we because Bonesy was on, I started thinking of Joe Douglas. We traded down and drafted the Florida State Jordan Travis.
Yep,
and we passed up on Spencer Rattler. How's that looking out? How's that looking?
He won his first career game yesterday. He hasn't been that good.
Okay, he's an NFL starting quarterback. How did Jordan Travis do?
What do you mean he's an NFL starting quarterback?
He's going to go somewhere and start next year if he doesn't start for the Saints. Like that's a starting quarterback in the league.
I don't know if you could definitively say Spencer Rattler is going to get handed a starting job like Justin Fields just was, for example.
Who's better, Spencer Rattler or Justin Fields? And I love Fields, but Rattler's better than Fields.
Is he though? I don't know about that.
Are you looking at what he's doing with like the worst roster in football? The Saints have the worst roster in football, not us. It's not even close.
To be honest, you can make sweet love the Rattler. Who cares?
I'm going to.
He's not our answer either. He's not a long-term starter for anybody. Neither is Fields. We knew that though. It was a lottery ticket. I'm more concerned about the coaching.
I don't know why Rattler's not a long-term starter. I don't agree with you at all on that. I think Rattler is he going to be a top 5 quarterback in the league? Probably not. Is he going to be a middling quarterback? I think so. Like a 15. We haven't had a top 15 I put Sanchez in. I know you guys hate Sanchez. The timing's a little weird on that. But Sanchez was a middle of the pack quarterback. He wasn't bad. He got a bad rap because of the butt fumble and things like that. Sanchez was never that bad. Like he really wasn't. Not as a rookie. Not as.
Did you just say you'd make sweet love to Rattler? That's gross, dude. You said
you
yeah.
said that. I kind of nodded.
Mr. Literal man here. Hold on. You're Mr. Literal. Are you going to make sweet love to Spencer Rattler, Gary? You sicko.
Certainly not. Certainly not. But metaphorically, to his game,
calm your freaky down.
I mean, geez, Gary. Wow.
I told you guys, Spencer Rattler. That was the one we had to get.
Dude, he won his first career game yesterday. You're talking about like he's Joe Namath. Relax. He beat the Giants, who suck.
What did Troy Aikman start his career? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, he played on a bad team. What do you want me to say? Like,
if Spencer Rattler ends up being a Hall of Fame quarterback, you could host the show for an entire month. All right.
Deal. That's
right?
Deal.
If I'm still doing the show 20 years from now, when Spencer Rattler's going into the Hall of Fame, all right, We'll make it happen.
Just say this. Spencer Rattler was undervalued and underdrafted. Just say that. Just say it. Say, Gary, you were right about Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler was
I
completely
don't feel that
undervalued.
way, though. I watched him play yesterday. I didn't see anything that was that special.
Jake, he was a 5th-round pick. How many 5th-round picks are starting in the NFL like this?
But that doesn't mean anything to me. Just because he started in the end, cool. Who cares?
Okay, he's a fifth round picks usually aren't starting. Look at the landscape of the league. Most starting quarterbacks taking the first 2 rounds.
He's starting on a team that was thought to be the worst team in the league. That's not that impressive. Josh McCown started a full year for the Jets.
Veterans years when he was like 38 after.
But that's what we're talking about. Just your qualifier can't be. He's starting in the league. Who cares?
But he's not just starting. He's good enough to be a starter. He's a starting quarterback.
I don't know if I feel that way. I'm done arguing about Spencer Rattler because I really don't care, Gary. If you want to, if you want to be excited about Rattler, go watch him with the Saints every week and enjoy. I don't care. I'll care about Spencer Rattler for 1 week this year when the Jets play the Saints in New Orleans in week 16, assuming he's still starting then. But by then, they probably will have benched him for Tyler Shuck to get a look at him before they're going to take a quarterback in the top of the first round. Who cares? God. Spencer Green says, I agree, Gary. Just look at the first name. I want to address a comment from Jets Johnny who says, you Jet fans would have fired Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell took over a way worse situation. Jets Johnny. Can we stop? You refuse to give Aaron Glenn any criticism, Jets Johnny. When you ran your mouth that the Jets were going to do so much damage to Aaron Rodgers week 1, they were going to beat the crap out of him. And they lost. And Aaron Glenn's defense got torched by the Steelers. So please miss me with all that. I'm not even saying to fire Aaron Glenn. I don't want to fire Aaron Glenn. What I'm telling you is through 5 games, it's been Kottie-like. It's been as bad as it's ever been. They're setting ineptitude records, like being the first team to ever be 0-5 without a takeaway. We're having the conversation on one and doneing this coach because of how bad it's been. Hopefully, it doesn't get to that point because they're showing improvement. They win football games. Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally time for the Asmaniac raffle. I have put the names together. We have a bunch of people that want to win a Joe Klecko sign ball. So we find out who wins right now.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Hold on. I got a guy on hold who's flailing his arms that wants to come on the show. I've gone live for 3 hours and 12 minutes, but apparently Bobby Midnight has more to add to the conversation.
J-O-B, job.
Hello, Bobby.
Well, I just wanted to tell you what's happening with the job.
You really think this was that important right now?
All right, well, do the spin. I'll talk to you later.
No, tell us at this point. You're already here.
No.
You're not going to update us on your job?
Well,
Oh, he left. Wow. Goodbye, Bob. Just remember, we've been here supporting you every step of the way, and that's how you treat us. Okay. Okay, Bob. Tell you what, that Bobby Midnight show really would have an audience without yours truly, right? Just remember that, Bob. Just remember that. All right, here we go. Wheel of Champions. Love all of you. Thanks for supporting the show, even though this football team makes us insane. If you win, please email me, asmanjake@gmail.com, your address, and I will send you your Joe Klecko sign ball. Good luck. If you don't win, you're in the raffle tomorrow morning for the Namath helmet, sauce sign jersey, and cravat sign football. Here we go. One spin, and your winner is Gonzo 615. Congrats to Gonzo. I don't have your info, but hopefully you email me. We'll get your info, and we'll send you a signed football by a legendary Jet Hall of Famer. Hit the low ski. One more. And then this.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but
This ball coming your way, Gonzo. Congratulations on the raffle win. All right, that does it for me. Beningo coming up at 4:30 today. I'm sure he's in a jolly mood. Kevin says I'm being an ass to fans today. You mean to Bobby Midnight, who's been calling my show for 3 years, who wanted to call in at the end after doing 3 hours and 15 minutes of Jets therapy to discuss the job that he may or may not have gotten. That makes me an ass to fans, Kevin. Tell you what, I will be an ass to you. See ya.
You get the fuck out.
All right, I'm ending the show. Love all of you. Thank you for watching. We're back in a few hours. Hang in there, Jet fans. It might not ever get better, but we're in this together.
What is this? Who is this guy? Bad freaking Bunny. What is that?
hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the fuck out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.